I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Good morning, one and all. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. How are you all doing? Hope you're having a top morning. Top of the morning to you, right? You know what I'm going to do? So, let me read this devotion that I get, and then I'll go and tell you from who I got it. This one says, stop complaining about friends you're old now. Stop complaining about fake friends. You're old now. Go to work. Stay at home, eat, watch a movie, read a book and sleep. You will never hear rumors that the fridge and microwave were gossiping about you. Good morning. Blessings to you and yours. The words I've just said, no one can be a believer and an unbeliever at the same time. To believe in anything, we must elevate ourselves. Elevate means that we are set apart for divine or spiritual purposes and uses. To vivaciously commit oneself to a particular course of thought or movement. An elevation to God, the higher power. To a believer requires that we elevate to Jah or to God in the sense that we are in the world but not of it. That doesn't mean we must remain aloof from unbelievers, but that we are to avoid close personal ties to them that could compromise our spiritual and moral position. We must be wise unto the words of God. Jehovah, the Lord, my righteousness. Jehovah, the Lord, who satisfies. Shalom, Jehovah. The Lord is peace, Shama, Jehovah. The Lord is here, Rapha, Jehovah. The Lord who heals, Jireh, the Jehovah. The Lord who provides. The Lord, my banner. the Lord my shepherd, I call upon your mighty name this morning. And he says, Selah. So this is from King Mesam, who sends me a devotion like every morning. All right. So just sharing those thoughts from that devotion. All right. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you're all blessed. Hope you're all blessed. And if you're stressed, go and be stressed out if you want to, because that is your choice, because you don't have to be stressed. You understand? So, big up all the persons on the platform and welcome. You know the routine. We ask you once you come on to hit the like button, to share and to subscribe. Blessings to all of the faithful ones, you know. We're not afraid of what people say, you know. Every day we get up, we give thanks because we have life. A whole man drop out. A whole man lie down in the hospital on some beds right now, can't move. A whole ladies drop out, accidents, murders, all kind of things. But we are here. We are here and we have life. So we look to the hills from whence cometh our help. Our help comes from the Most High God who created the heavens and the earth. We are unapologetic about our stance in the Most High God. No boy, no man, no girl, nothing, no love, no likes, no money. Can't make we shift or move from that. And who no want to hear it? Them block up them ears and they cut them off and dash them away. Because we boldly proclaim we are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because it's the power of God unto salvation to every man who believe. To the Jews first and then the Gentiles. And who not like that, take away yourself. Quick and fast. Big up man like Brain Drain. Calabar lose again. Can't find me shoes again. Them lost the race. Big up St. Diego, Monk Street, and on our Punk Street. Very good school. Natty Congo, up and running. Blessings every time. You understand me? Up, up, up. Yeah, man. Big up to St. Diego. You understand me? They won school challenge quiz last night. Very good game. 31-33. Well done, Calabar. You understand me? Runner-up spot. Big up, big up. Bless up, Brain Drain. But I know how it is. You don't take these things too well, but up and running. Ricky, man from Trinidad. Hey, Reggae boys coming over the gear to beat Trinidad in a Ricky. But I love the league. The league in Trinidad going on very well. Ricky, you need to call in and give us some update on what is going on in the league over there, you know. Yeah. You understand me? We want to know what's going on in the league in Trinidad, you know, Richard. You understand me? Definitely. Yeah. I hear that Brain Drain saying that Mr. Speed stole Calabar best player Christopher Ainsworth. Plus, we had to go up against Chelsea, a Chelsea player. That is why Calabar. Brain Drain. Too many excuses. All right. But yesterday we were having a discussion about speed of play. We're going to talk to Mr. Speed about it. We're going to talk about the EPL relegation battle. We're going to talk about Jamaica Gold Cup preparation in terms of what we need to do so we can move from semifinals to finals and win the finals for the first time in the nation's history that Coach Hal Grimson can bring the Gold Cup to Jamaica. We're going to discuss the Reggae Girls because we hear that they have some challenges out there in England and find out exactly what is happening. But I have, as we talk about speed of play, Mr. Speed should have been here yesterday. He wasn't. So I don't know if he disagree with what I was saying about speed of play or he agrees. But man is right. You understand me? So let me hear what him have to say. So anything him say apart from me saying wrong. Mr. Speed, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Well, thank you very much for having me. My voice not so good, but you have to see with me. But before me start talk about I need to say something. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, right?
Yeah.
Education. Nelson Mandela says so. Educate and rebuke begins in the first years of childhood and lasts until the last days of life. That's a Pythagoras. So educate your children so you don't need to punish adults. Remember that one. Educate children so you don't need to punish adults.
Yeah. So,
Pythagoras
so who
again.
you educating now? Talk to me. Or who you going to punish? Unseen. Man, a true words for you, unseen. You man say under punishment because you never get no education in the early days. So you get punishment, you know, unseen. If man job words for unseen star. Big up Jason, know yourself up and running. Big up unseen wherever you are, though you're busy.
So brain drain. You sure say I never will it have he enjoyed first and then send him come out
Oh,
Calabar.
a brain drain. Are you get education this morning, brain drain? Oh my lord. Yeah, so Mr. Speed, yesterday, I was talking about speed of play, and I started out by discussing the four types of speed in football: pure speed, technical speed, speed of action, and mental speed, meaning, the ability of the player to be aware of all the factors, conditions, and options inside and outside the game. That is mental speed. And speed of action had to do processing information from the game and choosing an appropriate response quickly to the situation. Technical speed is the ability to control, manipulate the ball with the body, the legs, or feet at speed. And then pure speed is just your ability to overcome the distance between 2 points in the shortest amount of time. And then, we got into some discussion about what speed of play is, that it is a mental and physical attribute that players must possess to be successful. It includes first touch and transition from attack to defense, while the mental side includes things such as reaction to pressure and decision making. We're kind of saying that these are some of the things that are affecting our football in general. That the speed of play, though we are very quick in terms of pure speed, our ability to make decisions fast, good decisions fast in a game is what sometimes is lacking. And also the ability to do what we do, to control the ball, play football, along with the kind of pace that we have. In other words, like, to be able to be what a Cristiano Ronaldo is, who has immaculate touch and control, even at high speed. So though we may have athletes who can run as fast as him, very few of our athletes sometimes can do the things that he does in high intensity, high pressure moments at high speed. Yeah, which is a part of the thing. But the biggest part is the mental attribute needed to execute and make decisions in the moment and at the time. I wish you had listened to it so you'd gotten, because we went into a whole lot of things, but want to hear your thoughts and all of that.
No, you're right. And there's probably more examples of speed in football than you mentioned. Um, there's also one you never say, that speed kills. And it's true. Really fast players have a space in this game. I mean, if you remember player like Eusebio, who was the master at conducting, even though Mo Salah is one of those people that is so pacey, it's almost impossible to catch him if he have a half a stride on you. So it is true that speed is such an important part of the game. Yeah, Mbappe, you can't control it. If the person can play a little and if they can play a lot, they are dangerous player. But people kind of just compare speed with attacking players. It goes right around the pitch, loose ball in midfield. The faster player get to it first. Not just raw speed, but also reaction speed. Fast defenders usually can play a higher line, so it's more difficult for teams that are not so fast to break them down. So, for instance, let me give you an example of Saudi Arabia. They were able to compress Argentina in a space about 20 to 25 meters, right? They start the press from a little cross, I mean the arc and a little behind it. That was their line. Because they know that as great as Messi was, Messi would not be able to run left them with a ball over the top, and then the sweeper would be high. Like the keeper would be playing like a sweeper. So yes, it is true that speed is so important when it comes to football, but we have not embraced it enough from our younger days. We still try, we are sold on the samba style first, then we get sold on the tiki taka style afterwards, and we have never by ourselves try to make sure, say, we use up all our God-given talents and abilities that we have. So speed in the football, the modern game is of utmost importance, and it's all the speed combined. Once
Yeah,
you
but
combine all the speeds, then we not
yeah,
good.
yeah, because I believe, right? Though we have Jamaicans who are very fast, they have pure speed. In other words, they have the ability to cover the distance between 2 points in the shortest amount of time. I think though what we are lacking is the technical speed and what I call the speed of action. Are we able to think quickly, especially at the highest level, and make the right decision in the right moment of the game? Because the faster your decisions are and the more accurate they are at speed, is the better the outcome is going to be. In other words, if I can make passes faster than you, accurate passes, complete objective faster than you in the games, then I, no matter how fast you are in terms of pure speed, the fact that I am making decisions faster, that is more important. So let me give you an example. A
Just as
speed,
important.
eh?
Just as important.
All right, let me say it this way. If you have a very fast athlete, very fast, faster than me as a defender, but I am faster at making decisions, I will make a decision that will help to eliminate the effects of his speed on me. In other words, I would get into the space that he's going to run into to block him, to stop him, to cut him off, to redirect him, because I'm thinking faster. So I personally believe where Jamaica need to step up is how are we going to create training sessions, the kind of development where our players can make right decisions at speed while playing at speed.
Well, just so it's twofold. Because I remember there was a striker, which I can't remember his name. He was even chubby, and people couldn't understand how he scored so many goals looking like that. But his response was always, "I'm fast over 5 yards." So so you see, you have people who fast over 5-10 yards, which is what most strikers require. But then you have other people who fast over 40 yards, over 50 yards. So again, although both of them are speed, is is you have speed, as somebody was saying, you have speed endurance and you have just raw speed. Yeah, so that person with that speed over 5-10 yards is the reaction speed that they have that helps them to get whatever they want to get done. You have another set of person who will give you a 5 yards jump up, going over half the field and run it down. You have another set of players who will be behind you substantially and overtake you with a true pass. You are right about, if you think faster, you will be able to deal with probably 80% of dangers as somebody who faster than you. But if the person have a good passer and they have that raw speed over you over distance, there's gonna be some time when all of your fast thinking won't be able to help you because of how the play is constructed and how quick the player is. So that is why
I
I'm
will tell
saying
you
we
this.
need all of the speeds if you're going to be a top
No,
class.
I'm not saying we don't need all of them, but listen, if you have Usain Bolt as one of the fastest athletes, and I am thinking faster than him. In other words, my level of game intelligence is way ahead of him. I can tell you, and I like what Duklan says. If I can think faster than you, then I don't have to run faster than you in
No,
football.
no, you will get him majority of the time because the brain. We all know that the brain is more useful than brawn in most cases. But there's going to be some case where your brain can't help you. The raw speed going to take you, going to beat you. And it could be 1 out of 10, it could be 2 out of 10. It could be the lesser of the fraction. But when it does, there's nothing you can do about it because just raw speed, trust me, it can't, in some instances, you can't do nothing at all about it if the person is not faster.
Yeah,
In some
but
instances.
and that is why I'm saying, but because when I look at, for example, in recent times, how many of our younger players have returned to Jamaica? And here's the thing: if you put them in simple situations, they'll be able to control the ball. You see, the other thing that it talks about the technical speed is that when they are in the 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 the, the, the high intensity situations, are they able to execute quickly enough, accurately enough, and make the right decision? I like what before the game says. Game intelligence is what we need to develop throughout the region. I think where Jamaica and a lot of the islands are struggling right now in our football is speed of thought or speed of action. Why is it that we cannot make right decisions at the highest level as fast as other teams? That we have better raw speed than them. But I can't tell when last I've seen any Caribbean team. And we can say that, boy, Jamaica used their raw speed or their pure speed to defeat them.
Right. So you're right. But it's not the player. Is with everything, it can be coached. So there was a time when most teams come to play Jamaica, and I'm going to most people know what this word means, and they always say just play Jamaica in transition. Because Jamaica had a tendency to wait and see what is going to develop before they react. So even on the defensive end, we would not transition to defense quickly enough. We're waiting to see. We have a wait and see attitude, which is probably ingrained in our society. So we used to wait and see what is going to happen. And when we identify the danger, then we start to run. So it is true that it is something that enough of our players are not trained to do. And that is why we're going to take a little while to catch up. But once we catch up, we will be able to use our God given talents that we have in a better way. But we have to catch up first in terms of there's drills, that sharpen the 5C in young players. It is very important. A lot of coaches don't understand that there is certain drills, there's certain training session that sharpen these skills. So one of the things we have to do when we're training is to put these sessions in there that sharpen these skills without the player even knowing that that is what you're working on. So and as I say, but it have to start from a young age. Young age. It can't be when the player get old. We're gonna start trying to teach them these things. So in the whole technical development, you have to put these type of sessions together that will help the speed of thought, help
Yeah.
player and touch, help player to play transition to attack, help player to transition to defense without thinking. That is where we want to reach. We shouldn't have to think. So even when you say speed of thought, yes, speed of thought is good, but if you have to process it without then you react, you're still slow. You're still slow. You really have to so natural to you that when you see it happening, you're in motion even before the thoughts start to run through your mind. In other words, you have to do some of these drills, situational, coach on the spot so players can recognize certain situation, recognize the moments before it happen and the appropriate response. Not by start to say, oh, him do that, so I'm gonna do that by just naturally dropping there. And that is where the difference is with us and some of these top teams because their players don't even have to I suppose it running through their brain, but at such a fast rate that they are reacting to it before they even start to think about it. So that's where we
Yeah.
have to reach.
So yesterday we talked about elite players, which is what we need to develop in the region, right? Anybody can just clear the ball or kick it away. An elite player, an elite player's skill perform under immense pressure is remarkable. When a defender or midfielder has the ball in their defensive third, their vision and passing skill to get out of pressure. Listen to that. To get out of pressure, right? Situation is imperative. Movement of the ball is imperative, and they're able to keep composure with perfect passes. Elite players have cognitively developed a capacity to think faster than their opponents, to be aware, to anticipate, and to predetermine their next option prior to receiving the ball. And I think this is concurring with what you are saying about
Yeah.
these are the things that we have to get entrenched in our kids from as early as possible. I said Dwight Spence saying West Indies need to, which is the Caribbean, need to value intelligence over athleticism um, on the pitch. And then, as I said before the game says, our ability to communicate with the environment, which is read the game, make decision based on the information, observe and execute those decisions with the context of the game module. So here's what I believe, Mr.
So let
Speed.
me answer the one first, Dwight.
We, yeah, we.
Yeah. So Dwight, um, people have to use what we are in different nations, right? So we have to use what we have as a nation. So like the Spanish, they realized that they were in the physical time. So they use passing and movement. So you could say they use brains more than the physicality. So Jamaicans are blessed with physicality. So this is where I disagree with you. We need to combine both. We don't need to use any over the other. We need to use both of them at maximum. That is the time we're going to be the world class team when we start using both of them, both brains and the physicality. It don't make sense with taller, with faster, with stronger, and opponents who don't have those attributes beat us. There's no other sport that I know that if you're faster, stronger, taller, and and have a better physicality, you won't win. There's no other sport that I know. So that you could have those and don't win. So I'm saying the problem with football is that it actually have more tenets of the game than any other sport in the world. That's the problem with it. So there's a lot more things to put
Yeah, you
together.
have to use them though. But your ability to be effective with your physical attributes has a lot to do with your mental capacity as well. In other words, I've heard big LBW, long, big, and worthless, right height, right built, but worthless, right?
Yeah.
So we need it. But if you have, we have also heard fast and foolish.
Yes.
Because man fast like a bullet but can't make good decisions. While I agree that we need it, I think if we agree that physically we have the right that I always hear people say that Jamaica physically have the best, some of are rated highly in the world, then maybe what we need to work on is developing the the mental fortitude, the intellectual capacity of the players to get them to operate at a higher level, faster, um, at the level of decision making. Like speed of play, watch this, is a quick release time. Plus the movement of the ball being passed from one player to another, using one or two touch passing and getting rid of the ball within 2 seconds. All right, I always tell my teams this because the Jamaicans have a tendency to dribble. We like to hold on to the ball. So I always say to them, at the highest level, you're taught, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you dribble for two purposes: to create space or to get out of trouble. Outside of that, you're supposed to really pass the ball because the ball will always move faster moving around from player to player than with you moving it by yourself. So here is a choice: make passes accurate, high level, high intensity passes quickly instead of dribbling, because you're really supposed to dribble to get out of trouble and to create space. How do I keep this ball, dribble with it, and pull defenders out of position to then have my team attack? Or how do I get out of this trouble if I can't pass out? I dribble out. So you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I find that a lot of our players are dribble first and pass second players, which is a part of the problem. So they end up holding on to the ball, which slows down the play a whole lot. Like we don't do this. We don't know where the next pass is going to be before we get the ball. But go ahead and tell me. We don't know. Maybe I'm wrong still, but you're muted.
Remember, last week we were talking about game model.
Yes.
So what you just described is one of the game models that I was telling you about, which is the person who receive the ball decide what happens next. So that is so that is what happened to most of our teams and most of our players. They're not playing to a synchronized game model. So what they decide the game model on every single play. So a lot of our players grew up doing that. So because of that, them don't understand their contribution to the overall effectiveness of the team on what they should do, and find the gaps whenever there are gaps to be found in an instant. That's how they play. So it's something that just keep on, in Jamaican psyche, the footballer say if you step over 10 times, the crowd say Ray, that's a good thing, right? And then after stepping over 10 times, you know what they do? They make the pass, like the same pass that they could have made 2 seconds ago, they still end up making it. But what happened is that everybody in the opposition team now set their defense, their run back. So if there was three in front of you, while they splat over that and do all that you're doing, 5, 6 person run back and get behind the ball and able to set to defend the ball. So that is why now we're not able to use the raw speed that we have to get people in a trouble, because we just play too slow, because we have to please ourselves first. Just as you say, broke our dribble cross with the field. A lot of Jamaicans dribble cross with the field and beat two man and say them beat two man. But you don't beat anybody because you don't beat the lines. You're going crossway or back or sideway. You don't make no difference in the real game if you want to be efficient. So you're so correct about that, where people try to entertain themselves first, be satisfied first on the ball before they try to pass it up to somebody else. So in the whole contents of the game, you speed up a play, just slow down. I mean, you're going much slower. You're not breaking in the lines. People have time to recover. So yeah, all of
Yeah.
those is a combination about what the individual does and what the team does when you're talking about speed.
So all right. So here's what I let me see. Here's what I propose that needs to be done at all levels in Jamaica. Maybe it is being done, but we don't know. In other words, if we want to improve our speed of play, we have to improve awareness in terms of how we make our players aware. Have awareness of where your team, which is coming to what you're saying, our teammates are on the pitch at any given moment. Know where your opponents are and where is the open space. For this to happen, like we have been saying, is that we're going to need to have these players doing the same thing for several years. In other words, when a child is 7, and this is where we kind of ended the discussion yesterday. When a child is 7 years old, say in the States or in England, they are in an academy, right? So they stay in that academy up until 14. That's 7 years of doing the same things every single day. They play the same way, So they know by the time they reach 14, when player A has the ball, he knows where option 1, option 2, option 3, and option 4 are. Player option 1 knows where he's supposed to be. If he gets the ball, then they know who is now option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. So in those systems, they are doing that. I am proposing for us to develop that awareness. We have to find a way to get the best talents being together for a longer period of time. And here's why. When our kids start out at primary school, you start playing for your primary school at grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. That's a maximum of 4 months a year playing football. 4 times 4 is 16. That's 1 year. Watch this. That's 1 year and 4 months of football. The child in the academy who goes to the academy is doing this every day except for holidays for the said period of time. So repetition is developed with the same set of players. Not only that, in our primary school system, every year there's a changing out of players. In these things, you have the grade 7-year-old player, they move up to under 8, they move up to under 9, they move up to under 10, they move up to under 11, they move up to under 12. And what you have is the same group of players playing together for a longer time, which is what you're talking about, module. A module is developed in that everybody knows where. So before I get the ball, I know where all my options are going to be, which is exactly what you're saying, Mr. Speed, that we don't have that kind of a module. So when our players get the ball, they're searching for the options because they don't know where the options are. How are we going to fix that? So awareness is needed. That's number one. And Mr. Speed has disappeared. So let's wait until he comes back, right? There you go, Stefan, right? Repetition. Everybody saying that. There you go, Mark. Repetition. Repetition. See it? Repetition. Again, we see it. Repetition. Right? Very, very important. Repetition. We have to get them going through the same thing. And that may mean that in every parish, the Jamaica Football Federation finds 30 kids and bring them through the system, right through in every parish, and maybe every weekend from a Friday to a Sunday evening, they come and receive the same kind of training. But we have a caller. Call it in, so let's take this call. Caller, welcome to the show. We have Mr. Speed back on. So what say you?
Yes, man. So in regards to the players and the overemphasis on our quote unquote natural speed and physicality, Jamaica is really not that much fast on the football pitch. We're not talking about track and field and the whole population. On the football pitch, Jamaica is not that much faster or stronger than US, Canada, Honduras, Panama, Haiti, Costa Rica. We're really not that much. The level that we are above does not give us a distinct advantage. However, if we focus on those decision-making and technical skills, that athleticism will shine through as a result of it. But if you put that athleticism before it, you're going to get exactly what we look like the past 20 years. You have to put the decision-making and the skills and those, because I don't take a team that is, on average, the whole 21 squad, half as fast as Jamaica, but if they can think faster, especially at the youth level, they'll rip Jamaica apart all day.
Okay.
Just my 2 cents.
All right. Solid point. And I think that is what Mr. Speed is alluding to. But let me hear. He's back now, so let's hear from him. All right. Thanks as usual for the call, Dwight. Blessings.
Right. I wasn't saying anything different from what he was saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what you're alluding to.
Except I would say, I know that we are much faster than some countries, especially Central American countries. If you put our players alongside Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, Guatemala, it won't even be a race. The ones that I think is close to us would be Panama, USA, and Canada. But if you put us against anybody else, it's not a race. The problem why Canada, US, and Panama, there's a lot of people there with Jamaican heritage in those in some of those teams here, and so I think they'll be able to keep up with us. But there's no doubt in my mind that if our level of football intelligence, everything, come to par with these teams that are talking about, they can't beat us when we add our speed on it. So and our physicality and our pace and our strength. So that's the point I was trying to make. So
Yeah.
I'm not really saying anything different from what he was saying, except that I believe he underestimates what the physicality will do if we get the rest of things right.
Yeah. What I want to ask is that how do you train speed of thought? Well, I don't know if you want to let out. If it's a secret and you don't want the other coaches
No,
to know.
no, no. There's a lot of runders. You can see, you can find them and small sided games that bring that out. Because what happened is the react is how fast you process the moments in the game. In a big game, it don't come out in a 11v11, which is a mistake where a lot of people make. Remember, I said before, if you go to a training session and see the coach running the players around the field or running them through hills and valley, that's the worst coach you could ever find. If you go to a next training session and you see them playing a squad game for 90 minutes, that's the second worst coach you'd ever find. What you need to do is play a lot of small-sided short games, runders. These are the things that bring out these type of things in players. Depends on what you want to achieve though, the speed of thought. Because I had some statistics somewhere, but I'll look it up. If you play, I was just looking that if you play like a three aside for like 20 minutes, you'll probably touch about 16 times more than a person who play in us 11 versus 11. You see where I'm going. So 11v11, you might just have 5 times to react to a situation in a small-sided games, or small-sided games where you use sometime odd numbers,
Yeah.
different pitches. It open up that type of learning much more than you just
Yeah.
playing with a
And
script.
this is why I think one of the things that Jamaica needs to do is that we need to play a lot more futsal competition. I think we need to find a way to have futsal, especially at the younger age group, because I think it helps with that. It helps with your touch. It helps with thinking quickly. So if you start having those things like U7s, U8, U9, and consistently have stuff like that, it will help. Smaller side stuff, quicker thinking, quicker movement. Listen, for the people are talking about, do I? Let me speak to you. This is not it. Do I? Sometimes, sometimes we sold well. So do it. Come on, man. You know better than that. Speed is important in the game. So we cannot ignore that we have players who are fast.
So
For
so
us
make
to
we just so make we just go back
let
and
me,
look
no,
at
no,
some of
Mr.
the
Speak,
great.
let me answer that because there are sometimes this is what I can't sometimes I can't manage some of the discussion. All right? Because we're having a healthy discussion and all of a sudden it is beginning to descend into, so let's work this out. People, Jamaica have if you put us in a 100 meters, our team take players and put them against the Costa Ricans, I guarantee you that you'd have more Jamaican winning those races than the Costa Rican. That is called pure speed. For us to say that Jamaicans are not any more faster than Central American is inaccurate, man. So let's leave that alone.
And just to get this point, I'd go further by saying, if you put all like to go ridiculous, put all like Jamaicans them on the equator with, with all the other nations in the world and go over 100 meters, I'm sure Jamaicans will be at the front. Most Jamaicans will be at the front when the race finishes. So there's no dispute about where the sprint champion come from, where the fastest people in the world come from. It's not even us have to recognize it, it's everybody recognize it. But in the world recognizes it. So I mean, so but at the same time, we all agree that that's not the where at and all. You need other things to make it come out. They need other things to make it use it to the best of our abilities. But just to make you show you how the argument ridiculous. Some of the best football the world has ever seen was always fast players. No, we can go back. I mean, some of them not so fast, but some of them are really fast players when they're on top of the game. So I think I don't think anybody. I think the point is being management, but you can't cut. Well, before the game, I'm going to repeat it again. If you go to one training session and the coach run for 90 minutes, is the worst coach you could ever find. And if you coach plays squad match for the whole 90 minutes, is the second worst coach you could ever find. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
and I
So,
repeat
so
it
let me just answer this, right? Again. Hey, listen. Let me say it again. I don't have to I don't have to put any stats there. I don't have to pull up any stats to any of you. In this region, when you're talking about the speed, pure speed of players, Jamaica has always had some of the fastest players when you talk about pure speed. If you want to contend that, you can go ahead. What I am saying to you is that our pure speed is not enough. When Mr. Speed spoke, he did say there's a lot of Jamaicans with Panamanian roots. He said that the Americans are similar. He said that the Canadians, they are not in the Central American region. The Central American region includes, oh my Lord, man, why we have to get to this place where we want to change discussion and get to trivial things? Central America, the Guatemala, El Salvador. Talk about those things because that's where it's at. Are we going to deny that generally Jamaica has had footballers who were faster? How we get to that? I don't understand how we get to a place where we are arguing that Jamaican footballers, pure speed generally, are faster than Central Americans. How did we get there? How we get there? Like being all of us being intelligent people. How did we get to a place where we are now basically saying Jamaican athlete footballers? And I can go to the persons who are talking about it, that most of our footballers were champs athletes who ran at champs.
Yeah.
Most of our let me say it again, most of our footballers participate at champs. For those of you who don't know, some sporting event, you go and check it. The captain for St. Diego, who is a hurdler, track team last season was a champs. Jahil Hyde, I can go through. Dane Richards. I can go through names and names of athletes
Well,
that did champs. And
Omar and Henry that play for me now.
Colin
Him
Anderson.
run a champ still for Calabar. And he was good.
So relax yourselves, man. All right? So let's discuss what we're discussing. Speed of play, which is different from pure speed. So Mr. Speed, part of the thing now is that, listen, we need like repetition. We need to train how we want to play. And I find that this is a matter of coaching now. This is where I believe that we need to get the people, the federation, need to get to the place where you get some of the best coaches coaching our youngsters consistently. My proposal to the federation is, beginning soon, that you have some of the best talents in each parish under the auspices of the parish president with one of your best coaches in those parishes. Take some of our youngsters from a Friday evening to a Sunday. Say 30 of them and stuff. I know you're starting a competition, but will those players, I know you're starting, I think, under 15 or under 14 through the parish, will those players be part of a consistent pool, training and working together?
So one of the things we're embarking on now is to develop an elite youth segment of our football. So the under 15 boys and under 14 girls competition will start soon. Under 15 boys is this month. And from that, we're going to be looking at the players that we think will excel. And yes, those players will be exposed to national training, and some of them will go on to play for the World Cup under 17 qualifiers. So that is what we're trying to do. We're also introducing an under 17 competition between the clubs, all the Premier League and the Tier 2 clubs. That is expected to start in May. And that again is a part of our development process. And we're trying to establish the elite youth players. Remember, part of what we're doing is also to empowering the coaches to be able to develop um, those players in the right way. I remember, what I mean, we remember in Jamaica we have a lot of different issues, right, which we have to sort out. Because one of the things that a lot of countries do is that them don't have so much difference in how they decide to improve the players, right? One of the things that we find out that behavior and performance are guided by genetics, and learning is not just learning alone. Genetics go a far way in deciding behavior and performance. Don't make anybody tell you anything different. So while we are here talking about, learning, we really was more versed on talking about learning a while ago. But for especially young players, genetics is very important, which is the part what I never bring out as much. You know, learn behavior is volunteered movement after demonstration and rehearsal. But you ever try to show a set of athletes something and one boy just sketch the same time? You ever am here? Him just sketch the same time. And then other people, like a million years after that, you try to show them the same thing and then can't learn. So it is not as it appears to be that these learning, right? So then you have what you call volunteer movement, that it becomes automatic once you learn it, unconscious. These are the things we are talking about. Some of the speed where you use, some of it's unconscious. You just do it without even thinking. That come through learning, but it becomes a repetition, repetition, repetition. That is why when I was telling the person a while ago about these long games, 11-a-side games, it take longer to learn unless a genetics. You see my point? Much longer. So that is why you want the volunteer movement from an early age. It's essential. It's hard to teach an old player these volunteer movements. And that is why we're trying to establish the elite players are early. Elite youth players. So some of these things will happen.
Yeah.
Now, one of the critical thing again.
Man, give me 5 minutes short to that.
Okay.
One of the critical thing about the speed thing, again, as somebody mentioned it here now, that is why we can learn from each other. I am not an authority. You have people in here that mentioned something that we just realize that we should have said. If you're not fit, if you're not fitness and agility, those are other things that you have to use to go with the speed and the focus and the training, Because I just say the big and what the man who can chew gum and walk at the same time, it's difficult for him to do these things that we're trying to talk about here. So you have to be somebody who willing to work hard at fitness. It's a whole heap of thing you have to bring together to bring the speed of thought and everything to that. Whole lot.
Yeah. So let me give you an analysis, because my perspective is this. Because like I said, recently a couple of players have returned, and I find it very very odd that, and Unseen and I discussed that this yesterday, that where there is a culture where winning is projected above development, development is stifled. I'm going to give you a good example. I have studied a pattern, and I have found that the players who leave Jamaica from non-traditional high schools, who may not have won Manning Cup or the Costa Cup, have stayed overseas longer than the ones who have gone to traditional high schools and have won multiple Manning Cups or the Costa Cup. And I'm beginning to wonder if though they trained them to win, their development was short-circuit or short-changed because the ambition of those schools was to win the competition more so than produce the best player. And I can go to a litany of names that have left Jamaica and never won Manning or the Costa Cup. And they have garnered.
Don't call the name.
No, man, I'm not calling any names, but I'm not calling any school names, but it is a pattern. But I have Coach Barris Johnson. Coach Barris, I saw you saying something in the chat before I come back to my point with Mr. Speed. You're saying that there are other factors.
One of the things, the point I was trying to make, there's a lot of factors in terms of when you think about speed of play and speed of thought. I mean, when you look at speed of play is basically the movements of the ball and the players as a group in terms of at a fast pace, depending on how you're trying to break the line. But you have to understand there's a lot of factors, as I said. One of the biggest things is the body shape to receive, the angle that players tend to support that. And then you're talking about spatial awareness, receiving the ball. You're talking about awareness while the ball is traveling to you. So all of these are factors that add up with speed of play. I mean, one of the biggest problems I tend to see with us in terms of the local football is basically the body shape to receive and the spatial awareness. So where you find 95% of the time, I mean, I watch the Premier League and I watch the Manning Cup games, and most of the time, just based on the body shape and the angle of support, 95% of the ball is either a square pass or a back pass. So that's why I was trying to get to you that there's a lot of factors.
But you know that we discuss all of those things. We talk about opening up your hips when you're receiving. Look, we did say all of those things though. To be fair,
I'm just adding to it to say understand awareness.
No, but
awareness of the ball and the ball while receiving the ball.
So remember, the first thing we said is that we need to look. Because if when you go back, you can look at it. One of the first thing we put up was the awareness, how to improve speed of play. And we said we needed awareness, because here's the truth.
Okay.
But you and I know, which is what we are discussing, is the solution. Because part of the solution is that your players at your academy, as an example, you had them at under 7, under 8, under 9, under 10, under 11, under 12, the same group. When they get to under 13, because these are the same things we are saying. When they get to under 13, when player A receives the ball, option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, all know where they are supposed to be once the ball is in a particular place with a particular player. So that allows for faster movement. That happened because they have repeatedly done this from U7.
In terms of practice.
Exactly.
And I mean, this is something that they constantly, in terms of repetition, it's like driving management. It's being repeated, so there's a certain aspect of it that will normally become natural. So it's the same thing you're saying. With practice and over time, it will normally become natural.
Yeah, and there you go. But how do we? What I want to ask you, which is what Mr. Speed is trying to answer. How do you do that in a culture like Jamaica, when kids
I
start playing?
mean, one of the things for me is the first and the biggest and the most important factor is understand who is it that lead the football, and everybody knows that's the JFF. Now, one of the things, and I'm a bit disappointed with this in terms of the JFF, because what happened, I said it before and I will say it again, the JFF need to get itself structured in a situation that they set the template. And when I say they set the template, understand the finishing product that we're trying to create. We're trying to create first team national players. Now, if the club doesn't understand the JFF template and what is it they're looking for in a player, then there's no pathway to follow. Now, I will be at Waterhouse playing a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 system when the national team template is playing a 4-1-4-1. If you understand what I mean. So I think we need to sit and have the dialogue with all parties that has to do with football.
Hey,
plan, have the discussion to agree to disagree in terms of where we want to move.
you know, I disagree to do.
So let me disagree with him. Let me disagree with him, man. First.
No, let me. You
No,
can't.
man, let me disagree with him first, man.
No, I'm trying to say,
Baris,
understand the situation.
No, man.
Baris, just hold on to Baris. Just hold on to Baris. Baris.
Just let him finish.
A goal come down and spend him 1.5 billion. JFF can't go and tell him which formation.
You hearing, Baris?
No, I'm not saying. Listen up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the JFF must tell.
Yeah, but your first preface your statement.
But there has to be a template to say, look, this is what we do at the national level.
No, all right.
I've been
Coach
saying
Baris,
this for years.
Coach Baris. Here's where you and I completely disagree.
Baris, in England, English FA don't tell no club how them to develop.
Nonsense. Let me just answer.
No, but what I'm saying,
Coach Baris. Let me just get a chime. I'm in the States, just like you. And none of the academies in the state are working from no template from US Soccer Academy. None of them.
Management, let me tell you this.
Coach Baris.
That's what.
Coach Baris. None of them works with a template from US Soccer.
Again, that is what you feel. That is what you feel.
I am telling you. All right, Coach Baris. Coach Baris.
Don't get me wrong.
No. You said that is what I feel. I want you to. No. Coach Baris, let me finish now, man. I want you who run an academy to tell me that your academy operates on the template from the US Soccer.
Tell him to send me the template.
No, that is the way you wrong management. I'm not saying you have
I want to see the template, Baris. I want to see the template.
You get the template based on what they are looking for in terms of recruiting players.
Hold on, Mr. Speed. So you are telling me that you got a template, your club, and all the come you call other people now, Coach Baris. I mean,
they don't get it to use
no, Coach Baris.
But there's a basic guideline to say this is what we're looking for at national level.
Coach Baris, I'm going to give you, I'm going to talk, I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to give you some time to think about your statement and make it clear, because you see, once I'm finished with you, I'm going to clip the statement and I'm going to call 10 coaches who run academies that you know to ask them. And I'm going to, and if there is a template, if there is something from US Soccer, then they will show it to me. So I'm giving you time to think about what your statement is.
I'm saying it again. The template is not for you to say you're embedded in it and you have to do it. But the template is to say, look, if we're trying to come, these are the players that we're looking for. So, in terms of a national setup.
So you are saying the US Soccer. I'm asking you again, but you're not. Here's what I'm asking. Based on what you just said, I am asking you again, respectfully, Coach Baris. Are you saying that the US Soccer gave you something that if you have a 7-year-old, You are supposed to develop in a particular way to play for the national team. You're saying that all the academies have received that.
All the academies get that management.
All right.
All the academies get that. It
Not a
doesn't
problem.
mean say you have to do it, but all the academies get that. Every academy know at 7-year-old is basically, it has to be game related. It has to be that. You can call them, ask them where they get that from.
I'm trying to get what I'm trying to be clear, you know, because I'm trying to be clear because I don't want to repeat something that you didn't say. So I'm going to ask the question. It's simple. You are
management. The American Soccer Association have something named practice player. Everybody has run, has worked within academy in the United States, have that, understand that, and stick to that. So you can call anybody you want.
So practice play is because remember, Coach Boris, you started out. Yeah. Let me say it again. You started out by saying the Jamaica Football Federation needs to create a template, right? Because you said you don't want to be coaching at Waterhouse playing a 4-1-4-1 when the national team is playing 4-3-3. The national...
Good. And the point I'm trying to make management, understand this. It doesn't mean I have to follow the template and play whatever they play, but at least I have to coach the players in some form of direction that they have an understanding of what is it the JFF trying to do and want to do. That's a simple salute. That's a simple thing I try to do. And it has to be the same.
Management, we can move on from that point.
Yeah, Coach Boris, because we don't want to go all over the place. Let me say this to you, Coach Boris. Let me tell you what I believe. Let me tell you what I believe. And I'm going to use England as an example. Pep have players at Manchester City. Like Phil Foden, a lot of these guys, even Bukayo Saka, was at the Arsenal Academy, came into the Arsenal team. Let's use him. Arsenal was not using in their academy something sent to them from the English FA to develop soccer in a particular way to fit into the English system.
Management, let me stop your management. Me have the England FA manual. We can send it to you. Don't tell me that. Tell somebody that. Don't tell me.
Boris.
Everybody have the manual.
Did I say? Hold on. Boris, don't you can't. You know, say you don't know me. You're talking. You can't do that to me. You know.
No, me I tell you straight up.
But did I say? But did I say? Hold on. No. Don't twist. Coach Boris, don't twist up anything.
We can't send the England FA manual.
But Coach Boris, listen. No. Did I tell you that England don't have a manual? Did I tell you that?
What is the purpose of the manual?
For the English national team. Not for Arsenal to take it and use it and play them team that way.
I say Arsenal, but Arsenal at least have players that is guided basically in the same direction.
What are you talking about?
So waiting on how the management, wait till them come in there, so them teach them that this is where we are going wrong.
Coach Boris.
My management, let me end and let me listen to you. The situation is the JFF need to wake up and understand. They are
That's
the governing
a different thing you're talking about, though. The JFF
need to start take measures and put things in place.
But nobody not disagrees that.
Rubbish ahead.
Listen,
not the JFF manual.
That we can talk about.
The JFF manual.
You're gonna make me talk. No, because you say you're gonna talk and then me talk. All right. So let me finish.
Yeah.
You and I can argue whether the JFF has a manual or not.
Yeah.
That's a separate argument from what we are discussing. So what you want to discuss, whether the JFF have a manual? Because that's simply, Mr. Speed, does the JFF have a manual that determines how the national team plays? Yes or no? Just give me a yes or no.
No.
No. All right. So let's
me hang up. Me hang up on this here.
No.
Me hang up on this here.
Yeah. So that we can beat the JFF on, whether or not they have a manual. So for anybody to come and tell me that in the United States, I was at several academies, and none of them, there are certain things that because the US soccer stipulate how your academy supposed to operate.
And we have
None
that.
of them tell you.
That the JFF has. And we
None of them tell you that you have to play players this way or that way for them to make the national team. Because in your academy, you're going to have people from all different nations. And you can't be coaching people pitney how to make USA team when they're from Guatemala and El Salvador. No tell me no nonsense. Like me a dunce. Like me no. Some of the man talk like say, and them alone know academy and they are foreign. The whole of it dead to brother. So no man come tell me say in the United States, US soccer, give all of the academies, the much academies they charge people pitney from El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and I tell them say, you have to use this, you have to make the youth them learn how to play. No gossip. I lie that. And me can call other people and find that out. Me can call people from England right now and find that out. I lie.
But management.
Lie.
Management.
No gossip.
Imagine.
They give you guidelines of how to operate and set up.
Management. You're so correct. Imagine the JFF tell algorithms. Imagine some people in a JFF sit down and write out and document and give to algorithms when they come and say, I saw you must play. How that make any sense? So the coach, so why we employ a coach if we have one, we need to send the people to play them and say, so you must play. So
No.
the truth is, what are taught to players are the moments of the game, what are taught to players to understand different game model. This education you get, you see, that's why I started education, you know. You give children education.
Me and you disagree with that still, Mr. Speed. I personally believe that the Jamaica Football Federation should have for its national team. So when you're players, so personally, you know, I believe there should be a game module for our national, especially the youth teams. At the senior level, you may have variations. I personally believe that when you have a JFF under 15 competition, you have St. Anne, you have Westmoreland, all of those teams must get coaches with the manual from the JFF to coach and condition those players. Because out of those players, you're going to select your elite under 14.
I believe with. Stop now.
We have a caller still, but go ahead.
No, hold on. So management. A game model is derived from a whole heap of different situations. For instance, you don't play counter-attack if you play against slow. So suppose all of your best player is slow. Or suppose all of your best player is fast. That is how you develop a game model. So it can't be, come with you have to depend that you have to have a game model that suits the players that you have. It can't be
I agree with that. But listen, but Mr.
So
Speed,
some player we can't pass it, but hold on, man. So we have some player we just can't pass it, but they can't play tiki-taka. Just ask it.
No, man.
That's why all I want to attack is a stereotype thing. That's not how the modern world think.
No, Mr. Speed, listen to what I am saying. Here is where Coach Barris and I agree. You see when it comes on to the Westmoreland under 14 that is being run by the Westmoreland FA, that is an affiliate of the Jamaica Football Federation, and them are going to play St. Thomas under 14. The JFF should have B licensed coaches who they have explained and expressed their
A licensed coach. I'm saying to you, management.
No, let me finish though, Mr. Speed.
Hold on, just like how you that think out, Barris, just think again. You have to play one game model where suit the players that you have. But the characteristics of the player determine what kind of game model you use. It can't be a pickup. You know, a whole coach have this mistake. Then pick a formation and say, this me I go play. And then I put one square peg in our round hole. Because the players them naturally can't relate to it because them physical attributes are not to play those things. Me are telling them as I'm ask you.
So when say that the JFF gave Andrew Edwards, come in here, caller, soon here, gave Andrew Edwards to go to Manchester, run the Manchester team, and gave him the manual. The manual wants him to play 4-3 because he's not teaching them a formation. He's teaching them the principles of play. All right, so he goes down there and he has 3 speedy forwards, right? And the JFF manual has in it as a formation 4-2-2 or 4-4-2. He still uses the JFF manual, teach them the principles of defending, the principles of attacking, which is a part of the module that is consistent.
But you don't need JFF module. You don't need JFF manual for teaching nobody principle of defending or attacking. Come on. Shame on you, man. Shame on all I know think like that.
What you mean?
Principles of attacking and defending is universal all over the world. No care.
Hey, Mr. Speed, remember, I'm not talking about a club. I'm talking about the players.
You're talking about no matter which football team, I don't know, corner league team or a church team. The principle of attack and defend is same. You don't need a manual. JFF go right manual.
So you're saying that. So you're saying that none of our teams should have anything to play by. We shouldn't be teaching. The only so our coaches must be unguided. Then just go there and do what they want to do.
I never said that.
So what is the point then, Mr. Speed?
I'm saying there's moments in the game. You must teach a player all of the moments in the game. So when the coach come, hold on, man. So when the coach come, when the coach come, and decide on the game model based on the players we have, right? And his game model will emanate from the moments.
So there's no principle of play. There's no principle of play that national. So what I'm understanding from you is that the Germans, let's break it down. There's no team in the world that there is anything from their FAs or their federation that determines how their national teams play. None. Me want whoever that you tell me.
So Manning's man. So Germany was never used to try the passing thing they're doing now. The 70% pass percentage, right? 70% possession. Hold on, man. They never used to do that first time, you know. Germany was not like that first time, you know. They were not. They're trying to do the tiki-taka thing when they do now, you know. They used to play different and was much more successful. It's them decide to choose this tiki-taka thing, but they can't even manage now.
No.
So the point I'm trying to make to you is that
the point.
Well, man, there's different gamers which we go to already and tell you. And it's for the team to choose the best one that will make them get the results that they need. It's a result-oriented sport now. You coach the result, not the way you want to stick to the tiki-taka foolishness. And then can't go away again because...
No. Hey, Mr. Speed, me have an article right here I'm going to use and beat you from FIFA, you know. Right, I know, where FIFA say we agree with me, you know. But me going to take the caller because you're wrong on the one here. And me I try to give you a chance, you know, for escape, you know. But you don't take it, you know. So, after the caller...
Mannings.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
All right. Hear me answer, right?
Yeah.
Me's not a football expert like you, Mr. Speed, but me's a common sense man, right? All right. Football have so much different formation where you can play, and even formation change within game based on where the game are going. So it's kind of hard for club teach formation to go into the national team because what if Jamaica play a game, right?
Man never does say that. Me never does say that.
So not that management at the parish level. No, you are say at the parish level.
No.
They teach system to play for the national team.
No, man. Remember, listen. Not the parish level.
Yeah.
So the JFF is putting on the JFF for development of football. They are beginning a parish, not clubs in the parish, but every parish. The association in the parish. So, for example, St. Anne is going to have a team. Danny Beckford is the president. He's responsible for the team as the FA president. Westmoreland, Everton, Tomlinson, Wayne Thompson. You understand me? So it will be Westmoreland versus St. Thomas. It's not a club. It is the parish team which will be sponsored by
so basically, those are not private institutions. Then they are the government around them, right?
No,
I mean the JFF around them. The JFF around them,
because
right?
It's a JFF competition.
Well, in that case, right? In that case, if you are produce some little things to go to a big thing, all the little things have to be produced the same way to go to the big thing.
But that
is what I'm saying.
Basically,
Yeah. Well, on that point, I agree with you.
And
But
that me
you
I say,
can't come to a private man with a club
no
and
man, me
tell him
not
say
say
Carla,
that.
him to play.
Carla, don't agree with him, Carla. You were right the first time. Let me tell you something.
No,
Even if
you
play parish
why me have to agree
competition,
with him,
Carla,
Mr. Steele.
well, I
Mr.
know,
Steele, you
Carla,
why me have
even
to
if
agree
play
with him,
parish
right?
competition, you see,
Well, I know.
Carla, when you play
Let
parish
me say this and
competition,
leave now. Let me say this and leave, right? You why me have to agree with him, right? If the coach come in, right, and say, but the coach have to set that example. The coach have to look for all of the parish them and say, I say why keep the
Me
player.
caller.
But at the
Me
same
caller
time,
this.
it's at speed, right? What if it's not successful and we change coach? That means we have to go change the youth them again.
that's why you know if you agree with man's man. My
Me
method,
caller. Caller,
Carla,
pick up
is
yourself.
my
Okay,
method, you
yeah.
see.
All right, respect.
Carla, my method is for you to teach the players all the game models that are possible at a young age. Teach the players how to react to different situations at a young age. So when a coach come, a coach just pick out the situation or the game model that he wants, and the player would have known about it already. That is why Pep can buy a player that is coached in a Europe we don't play not like how him play. And then just because the player is so versed at all the different systems and styles and game model, the player can just fit in. And that is why when a lot of Jamaican players go overseas, then come back because them only know one game model, they don't know the rest. So when the coach starts speak the language and say, today we're going to play in possession and play transition to defense when they lose the ball in a certain areas. The player don't even have a clue what I'm talking about. But if you stick them to one thing, and then when they go out to the world, which the world is worldwide, not Jamaica, and Jamaica play one game model. When they go out to the world and somebody else play two different game models, they're going to be so shocked and surprised. They're not going to know what to do. It's called committing football suicide. You
All
need
right.
to teach them everything.
All right, so people, we're gonna break this down now. Because remember, we are not talking about the private clubs.
But before you go there, say, let me just
I
say,
need to ask you one very important question, because I want you to give in a couple of sentences what is this is where now Coach Barris and I agree now. What is a game model?
a game model is a predetermined set of instructions that players carry out whenever they attack, whenever they defend, whenever they are doing whenever they regain possession of the ball, right? In possession and when they're out of possession.
All
That
right.
so once those are defined, basically, I'm just giving it a very basic. And all the players then know what is required of them in each position and where they are on the field. That is what your construct. That is what construct a basic game. Yeah.
All right. Here's what I'm saying. That definition is to you have more and get something that
So
we
let me
can.
give you an example for help to
No,
make
me
it.
no. You see
No,
this
maybe
is
no.
it.
An example probably
You know.
explain it better.
You see
No,
me not get a. You see me not
I,
get a definition. It go hard.
no, but an example explain it better. So let me tell you.
Yeah.
So a Man City, everybody know that's a position. Their game man is a possession base team, right? You agree? They are possession base.
Manchester City is a.
Yes, possession base. Their game man is possession base. They
Yeah.
keep possession, right? You agree? But
Yeah.
they know that
Manchester City. Yes.
yeah. So when they're attacking, their game model is possession based. We also have to have a game model when you are defending, right? So what they do when they are defending, they counter press. So if they lose the ball, they counter press right over to try and win back the ball up the field. So then press. So that is their basic game model. Possession based, you have a Real Madrid whose game model was defender their own half and counter attack. So they were their game
No.
model was different.
No. So what I'm saying that there are different kinds of game modules,
Yes.
but a game model in its simplest definition is what you do with the ball, and what you do
Possession or out of possession.
without the ball.
And remember
Simple.
though, the game model could be complex
All
because you
right.
could do different things in different turns.
No. All right.
Not different
No.
places, yeah, you do different. But management, don't go. There's
No.
different, you do different things in different areas of the pitch management. That's a part of game.
So a game model in its simplest, I am not disagreeing with you that all those other nuances are a part of it. But for the in layman terms, it is what you do with the ball, what you do without the ball.
Yeah.
Just simple. All right. Now we have a caller online, and I'm going to tell you why we need a game module that we can play at our youth level where the JFF are in charge of what is being done. This is where Cataract, go ahead.
Yes. Right. Um, but the
Mr. Blake, you have
background
to come
sounds
from underneath the bed, man. Or you think so? So
nobody, the background sounds noisy. But I don't call him to agree with this Steve. But I don't know what the line sounds so. So let me try to call you on WhatsApp.
yeah. If Cataract agree with Mr. Speed, that means Mr. Speed wrong. So
Man is
people,
man. Man is man. Let me explain something.
well, are they? Cataract calling back. Yes, Cataract, go ahead. Let's see we hear you now.
Yes, are you hearing me now?
Yeah, man, loud and clear and loud.
Okay. No, I just want to agree with Mr. Speed, Mannings.
That mean
I
him wrong.
believe that
If you
I
agree with
believe
him,
that
him
the
wrong, you know.
players, hold on. I believe that the players must be developed holistically, and then the coach should be able to select the players that he feels fits in his game model. Now, I'm not a coach. I don't know too much about what you're talking about. That's why you still just stand to back and try to listen and learn. But what Mr. Speed is saying seems to be very intuitive, that you can't impose on teams, whether even your parish teams, that this is how you must play formation-wise, etc. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they have to play in order to get the results. So if you're in a parish where you have for example, a player who is good at passing, like Jeremy Hugh, right? You would be foolish then to try and play a long ball system, right? So I just agree with Mr. Speed on that it has to, when you get your players, you then fit the model that you have. So that's what I got from what you were saying.
Okay, so a game model, right? You're saying that you can't have a way you want your team to play without the ball and a way you want your team to play with the ball, because you have to know the players that you have. For example, you're saying that if you have a Jermaine you who is a maestro in midfield, you may want to play a little slower on attack so that his skills can be maximized. If you had
Right.
say you had Ricardo Fuller and a Jermaine Johnson, you would play different because they're faster player and have different skills.
Right. And again, I'm just speaking from a layman's perspective. Where for me, if you have a pass master, you'd want to work the ball to Jermaine Hugh. So as you get the ball, get it to Jermaine Hugh, then he would dictate where the passes go, pick out the best passes, as opposed to if you just have a running team with tricky players on the wing.
All right.
Perfect.
So I like how you and Mr. Speed agree now. So people, listen to Mannings, man. Mr. Speed, you and Cataract agree. And listen, you have a point. I believe that Barris have a point as well, you know. All right? Coach Barris had a point, you know. Cataract have a point, you have a point. But here's my thing. I think part of our problem has always been this issue. So, a youth got one of our traditional high school. They want to win. So they do that. They play in a way to win the competition at the expense of the youth development. So though they win using a particular game model, the player is underdeveloped. So the player goes to the national setup, the player fails, or he goes to the international or to club and he fails because the player is not being developed. The player is being put in a model for winning and not development. I believe it is imperative that at the youngest age we tell our coach to specifically work at developing player. Maybe we need to do it from under 10. So by the time they get there, they learn certain fundamental things without no wanting to win anything. Because if it becomes about winning, they will never learn the right thing because it is centered around winning. That is why you need a module that they stick to that will develop players. It don't matter if the player fast or slow. They're going to learn a particular way because it's about development. When they get older, then whatever model you want to use, then you can go ahead. But we are not supposed to be working at the players just being in our national teams under 17 or under 20, though that is important. But are we developing these players so when they get to the international standard, whatever is happening there, they can fit into it because they have learned the right fundamentals, because they have been taught the same thing, whether they win or lose for 6 or 7 years, consistently and consecutively. That is where you and I all differ.
So, man is man. So the
Don't tell me
truth
something you
is,
agree now, we know Mr. Speed.
the truth is, but we not. I'm just more refined than you. I same thing you really are. So
Yeah, but tell me I see the same thing, don't feel.
so what I know. So let me
The same
explain
thing, okay?
again. Let me explain to you again.
You-
Let me explain. Millionaires are nothing different. Let me accept the part where you say about you must force it code. So look here. You see that every sports from an island. I'll tell you something about sports. Every sports have tenets, right? So cricket, everybody can relate to, is batting, bowling, fielding. Batting, bowling, fielding, and running in a cricket, right? So you could be a batsman, you learn to play fast bowler, slow bowler, medium pace bowler. In a football is no different. You need to learn the tenets of the game, can do it under pressure. So any game model the coach come with, you're good at it. That's the point I was making. So for instance, just some people who don't know, the 7 tenets are running, passing, controlling, dribbling, heading, kicking, and conducting. So you see, once you get good at those 7 tenets, it don't matter what the game under and you can execute under pressure. It don't matter which game model the coach come with, you can do. You can do it. And that is why at the lower level, that is what all players must be taught. In addition, the 5C, commitment, right? Concentration, control, communication, and confidence. 7 tenet, the 5C. Those are what you must ingrain in the players from a young age, right? And you have a whole heap of drills where you can use to engrave those things in the players from a young age. And that is what we should focus on. So when the coach come from Timbuktu or wherever I come from and identify the 11 best players, man, the 11 best players you really want on the field, because of how the game is. The 11 best players, once you invite who are your 11 best players, of course you have some specialists. Then you decide what your game model is because you're more likely to succeed by playing those. You know how much time I go and see some coach say them adapt tiki-taka and the man can't pass the ball and then lose every match. His football suicide. What you must teach him is the 7 tenet, the 5C, then they can play any game model after that. That's all I say.
Mr. Speed,
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead, Kenner.
Manage, I wanted to ask a question. I noticed in your 7 tenants, they didn't have tackling in there.
Not tenants, cataract, tenants. Not tenants.
Tenets,
Not that with a S, sir. Tenets. TENETS. Tenets.
Tackling is not a tenet.
You said without an S. You said without.
No, not a S at the beginning. At the end.
Tackling is not a tenet.
For football knowledge, because
No, the 7 tenets. Dukeland. Duke Sea.
Omar,
No, Duke Mountain. Duke Valley. Go ahead.
no, Mr. Speed, I'm asking if whether the tenets of football, if tackling is not one of. I didn't hear that, and I just
No.
as a person trying to learn.
Yeah, no. Tackling is not one. As a matter of fact,
You're
lot
not
of great
supposed to tackle it. Yeah, tackling is
lot,
not what that's supposed to. If you have to
a
tackle,
lot
tackle.
of great defenders
Yeah,
frown on tackling. The
yeah,
great Paulo Maldini said, if you have to tackle, you made a mistake already.
yeah. You have already made a mistake.
It is frowned on that you have to tackle. And anyway, what I'm describing are things where must happen in a football game. And you have seen even the great people who win. I must say, sorry, Cataract. The seven
Yeah.
tenets is there, but there's one more that they add nowadays. They call it winning duels. So it don't mean tackling alone. Because tackling is winning a duel. But it's
Right.
not a tenet. But they are saying that winning duels is important. So if you go for a header, you have to win it. If you go for a foot race, you have to win it. If you go for a tackle, yes, you have to win it. If you're outsmart to get a chew or get a foul, all of those. Once there's a one-on-one confrontation, they are developing up to say you must win the duel now. Because if a team individually win most of the duels, you're likely to win the game when you have the other tenants working for you. So tackling by itself wouldn't be name one, but they are adding an 8 nowadays, modern, to say you must win the duels. But duels come in different forms.
Because I've seen when they have statistics, I've seen them separate ground duel and aerial duel separate from tackling. And I always wondered why the separation of tackling from ground dueling. But
yeah, duels is the overriding name.
You know, Cataract, no coach has ever taught a player how to tackle. You know, it's one of the things that you don't get taught to tackle in football. You're told to delay, to deny, all of those things, but nobody ever teach you how to
intercept.
all of those things. Defensive header, but you're never taught how to tackle.
I'm going to talk to the great one.
Yeah, talk to the
Even the principles of defending, Cataract, there's a pressure, cover, balance. Then nobody's a tackle.
Yeah.
That's not denying. Because I know that in Chelsea, the CDM developed at Chelsea, they are mainly taught to sum up the passing lanes, and they do a lot of positioning. If you notice, John Russell, Grant, anybody, Makalele, the whole lot of them, they do a lot of positioning rather than your players like, oh God, what this guy that did that Sunderland name. There was this in the defender at Sunderland. But as opposed to your Declan Rices and so, who are hard tacklers, they do more sit in front of the defense and make it extremely difficult to pass the ball between your midfielder, your creative midfielder, and your striker. So I guess, but we are here to learn, because this is what it's about.
Remember, if you tackle and you're missing, your team under you just put the team in serious problems.
And people, it doesn't mean that you're not supposed. In other words, like it's not that you're not supposed to. You're not gonna be in situation where you don't tackle. But normally when you tackle, something has already gone defensively.
Wrong.
Because there are occasions, because in fact in football, when I get the ball from you, when I delay and you do something stupid and I win it, they don't call that tackling.
No.
They say you win a ground duel. So it's just nuances. You understand? But I do understand. Listen, don't you realize that this thing, yo, bossy upon him and those things? You don't hear those things in football again, you know.
I get a red card. Boy,
those things. But somebody was asking what are the 5 C's again?
Concentration, I know.
Yeah.
5C, commitment, communication.
Put it on the screen, man.
Oh, anything else, Cataract?
Put a mark down.
Yeah, I saw Mr. Porter calling a couple other people. But anything else you want to say?
No, I'll leave it. If when you're dealing with relegation, if you want to send the link, I'll jump on about the relegation. But I'm not really a coach on this, so I'll let the coaches think. If when you're dealing with the relegation battle,
You can send the
Okay.
link if you want me to jump on. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
man.
Respect to all the coaches. Yeah, man. But
Yeah,
we're there
man.
for the knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, Ketera. All right. Listen. Again, know yourself. Let me say this. In this region, Jamaica, there are 4 speeds in football: pure speed, technical speed, speed of action, and mental speed. Pure speed is your ability to move faster, and this is pure speed in football, from point A to point B, not with the ball. So if you put the Jamaicans in a race with the players from the Central American teams, you will find that there are more Jamaicans over 100 meters that will win the race. What is the difficulty in understanding that? Me don't know how you ask who are the fastest footballing nations in the world. How you ask me that? Did I say that Jamaica is the fastest football nation in the world? I didn't. We're speaking about our region and we're talking about pure speed. There's 3 other sort of speed that we are not good at. And I said that if we have just pure speed alone and not the others, it's a problem. Because the man who sing faster than us will use his ability to sing faster and make better decision to get the better of us. Yeah, and not getting through. Yeah, right. So that is what I have been saying. So while Coach Barris and I don't agree on certain things, what I do believe though is that you can't tell the academies what to do, but for the JFF-led competition, there must be some consistent things that are taught.
But I just tell you them, these are what we would have preferred. As a coach, we would have preferred these are the things that are taught at the lower level, at the younger age, before the players come up to us. So,
So
for instance, I was just to extend back my grassroots, my small sided game, the benefits.
yeah,
Player touch the ball 5 times more and twice as much in 4v4 as in 11v11. Players are in 1v1 situation 3 times more and twice as much in 4v4 as against 11v11. Goals are scored every 2 minutes in 4v4 and every 4 minutes in 7v7. Goalkeepers are 2 to 4 times more active in 7v7 than in 11v11. The ball is out of play 8% of time in 4v4, 14% in 7v7, compared to 34% or more in 11v11. That is why I made the comment. And some person was saying, we can't answer that about a coach. We just come and play 11v11.
yeah.
Come and play 11v11 as against a coach who structure and training sessions. So a large part of it will be small-sided game. So you can get the more action for the 7 tenets but plus winning duels and get that into the player them psyche. So them
All
can
right.
become footballers.
All right, we have a caller. CC, welcome to the show. Long time. What go on, man?
Good day, here, man. We realize when you have VIP get to know, you not send out the link. Okay, you don't know a VIP get to make sure you Mr. Speed talking about the speed. But anyway, I would say that the problem with a lot of persons, and I think you can speak, I'm speaking from a perspective of how a lot of Jamaicans view football. Some of us do like to separate the science or the analytics from the sport and probably try to use eye test. This is the problem that I think a lot of persons hold. When Mr. Speed was saying you have to split up the game and play like 7v7 and 4v4 and have smaller quadrants of space where you keep position within the bounds of the field. A lot of persons they can't they cannot wrap their brain around that because what they're used to is 11 versus 11. But if you realize and what a 7 versus 7 game, the players touch the ball more than 11 versus 11 as Mr. Speedy said. And there's scientific evidence to prove it. There's mountains and mountains of research, years and years and years and years of doing this. I think a lot of the time when we look at the analytics, for example, I was speaking the other day, a striker and the typical striker and trying to say, yo, the conversion rate of a striker, right? And I was talking about if you get a striker who, when he gets 3 chances, ideally you want him to convert 3 opportunities into shots. If he gets 3 of those chances and he converts 3 of those into 2 shots, and after 2 shots he converts 1 of those into a goal, then that is precisely what you want him to do. What you don't want him to do is to be taking 10 ill-time shots or difficult, or the shot selection is one in which for every 7 shots he's scoring one, or for every 7 shots he's not necessarily scoring. So I say this to say that I think we fail to realize the science behind a lot of these things, and it's done based on the fact that people have done it before. How many players they have researched and say, all right, how many players when we play 7v7, what is the percentage chance of the ball being in play versus if we train by 11v11? And then the science evolves the game and the training method and everything. So on the basis of tackling too. I think persons will not realize it. I don't know if they know that when a player puts his body in front of the ball to stop it from going to goal or stop it from going to another place, that is also called tackling. Management.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I hear in CC. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody say, oh, that is also called classified as tackling. Because for what I've learned, what
Your volume is a little up. Your volume just went down.
I don't know why. Now, what I've learned is that I have three main types of tackling. Right? Um, a block is something that in terms of when you block the ball from going to an opponent or blocking a shot from going to goal. And you
Yeah.
have slide tackling. So, I mean, for me, positional awareness is a key component of the game. For example, I think the goal against Mexico, the goal that Mexico scored on us, right? When you notice in a 1v1 situation, in a in a 1-2 situation, a lot of the times you're being told to try to create 1v1 situation. For example, the Mexican player was bearing down on us. It's like in order to stop him or attempt to stop him from playing a 1-2, we try to turn it into a 1v1, meaning that he would have to try to beat the defender instead of so you block off the passing option or the passing lane and turn it in a 1v1, meaning he has to beat you, the defender,
Yeah.
instead of getting the ball to the player. But I think if you should say these things, this is not based on just watching the game. You watch the game and see all of this, but also after you finish watching the game, you look at the data and you look at what the data is saying. The data is saying that when you turn most situations that you turn into 1v1, if the player doesn't have the pace and the skill attribute to beat you, then that attack will break down. They have to make the player better themselves to have the skill and the pace in order to beat you. So as I said, though management, I think another persons want to separate the science from the sport and talk about almost talk. What you see alone does not help in terms of the development of players or the development of the football. Because if you realize that you have a striker and he's taking 25% of his shot, 50% of his shot is outside the box. And when you look, 25% of his shot is inside the box. And the next 25% is at an angle, to the right, then you would have to go to the drawing board and say, oh, for some reason, even though I would like you to take difficult shots, you cannot have a majority of your shots being taken outside the box. And I say this to say that Lionel Messi has scored probably over 600 odd goals and 800 goals or so now. Of that 800 goals, quite possibly, I think there's only 100 goals that were scored in and around of saying outside of the box. That means majority of his opportunities, he has buried them in the box or within 18 yards and those things. So that is why I'm saying that when you get the data and the analysis and the science and they say your positional awareness is poor or you need to work on this and get yourself into more goal scoring opportunities. The 50% chances now becomes a 75% chance. The 75% chance becomes a 90% chance. You understand? So, yeah. So to me, that's just the thing that I think a lot of persons need to understand. That the science and the football, the science and sports goes hand in hand, and you cannot separate one from the other, even though you will see this player doing that. This player doing that after the game finish, the coach will go back and say, oh, you know, say, for 50% of the time you are drifting left, or the coach will tell us 25% of the time you are drifting left. You understand what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
Only the coach can say that if you don't have any data. And the more the game gets advanced, is the more data is coming in the game. You notice them have a new stat where I think even Mr. Field is a state in the World Cup. Where I'm tell you how long the ball. Yeah, you no longer have 60 cards. You have 40% for you,
Hey, CC.
30% for you.
CC, them have beat in the comment section. Because but me think I think I get the point where you're saying. The science and the data is important. So we can't just we can't use the eye test alone. We have to get the data to match up with the science. Agreed.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah,
take
yeah,
care to
yeah.
get the data to match up with the science.
Yeah, man. But go check out Tennessee, because Tennessee I give you a warm time in the comment section. Mess up yourself.
All right.
Mess up yourself, CC. People, listen, let me say it again. Business Speed, that's who come back. Let me say it again. In Central America, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You have Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. I put it to you that over the years, Jamaica and their teams have had more players who have faster pure speed than those nations consistently. No, none of us. I didn't say it. None of the callers have said it. Nobody is saying that. That in and of itself gives us an edge. I started out by saying that there are four speeds needed. Where Jamaicans are probably better or have the edge is in terms of pure speed. But if your technical speed, your speed of action, and your mental speed are not good, then it makes no sense. All right? So let me say it again. Part of football is your ability to move from point A to point B. So, if I am playing against people who cannot run, and I have Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, and Nesta Carter, and those persons are very slow, they have no speed of action, then because of the speed of those three players, they are going to win because they can use their pure speed alone. If they're playing against players who have better technical speed, better speed of action, that those players would use that to nullify the pure speed of the players. That's all. There is no suggestion that because Jamaicans may be fast from point A to point B, they are going to be the top football nation in the world. We are not saying that. All right, that's not the point at the competition. But Mr. Speed, but back to you now. So, seeing that this is a problem, all right, seeing that this is a problem in terms of our speed of play. Um, what are we going to do? I heard that Frank Lampard has been given back the Chelsea job. What are we going to do?
To do what? When am I do at Chelsea?
Eh? When I ask for Lampard, I do at
He start
Chelsea.
playing him come out of retirement.
Eh?
Come out of retirement.
He wasn't. Frank Lampard wasn't in retirement.
Mean for player as a player.
No, he's going to coach. So
Interesting.
what can Jamaica do to really fix this issue?
Well, it's education.
Player
You can
education, coaching education, or both.
coaching education and player education. As I say, what there's when I say all our player them have speed, and fast. I remember one of these player. I remember this player go to England, and I was talking to somebody on the phone, and them say them I go training. So me I say, go training go do. And them say them go watch one Jamaican, and them I say, boy, him lightning quick. And them I go watch him play. That's why I remember the player name. He used to play for Medieval. And then when they tell me the player name, it was just it was a shock to me because I know Kemadil is a slow player. And the man said, boy, when the man they are training, the man lightning fast. And I was saying, really? So it just goes to my point when me and you discuss about speed is relative. And we are blessed with speed wherever we go. If you notice in a lot of leagues, they let us where they buy Jamaican players to play a wing back and wingers because them feel said that like an edge there is something where them need and them can use, and someone will play forward. But you don't see a lot of us playing midfield or center for the
It's
simple
a
reason
reason why Jamaica produce so many wingers and wingbacks to go and play internationally because it
overseas.
requires a lot of speed. You
Yeah.
can go back to Ricardo Gardner, Walter Boyd. I mean, what's his name? Jermaine Johnson. All of these guys. Think Rudolph Austin is probably one of the CDMs that really made it from as a local players
It's
over
mostly
there.
wing backs, wingers, and center forwards.
Yeah.
That
But we
we
have Jermaine on the line says he wants to ask you a question. Go ahead, Jermaine.
Yeah, Mr. Speed. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, and you?
I gotta ask you some question, most I call it respectfully. There's been a debate about coaches in the island and are they qualified? How many A licensed coaches do we have in Jamaica?
Like
If you know.
as far as I know, we only have one who completed an A license course in USA. We have 10 now doing an A license course that Trinidad facilitated, but there's UEFA and CONCACAF and CF people and FIFA doing the course. 10 persons enroll in that in 2 different batches. But as far as I know, there's only one local Jamaican coach who has completed an A license course in the USA.
So where does people get all this from that we got 6 A licensed coaches? Anyway,
There is 6. There is 6 A license coaches. There are 6 A license coaches who have completed the program, and their test is supposed to be reviewed anytime soon. So that's what they probably said.
Okay, cool. Is the JFF we call it assisting any coaches in getting have like a what you call it a program to help people just getting the right badges, steer them in the right direction?
Well, definitely.
It's not their job to do that.
Well, no, definitely. I'm saying yes. We have a coaching school, like a literal coaching school, and they are in the process of getting CONCACAF to license and we have 10 coaching educators in training. They are in the process of getting CONCACAF to license JFF to teach the CONCACAF C license. We have 27B boy license coach in Jamaica. Those have passed to already qualified, 27. And we are looking at having an A license course in Jamaica next year with 24 persons. So the JFF knows that is our number one thing that we have to work on now to be able to help the players. Coaching education.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy, let me just add to that. We did a program recently where Kyle Wallace from Reggae Boys Supporters Club, the money was raised up to this point, right? Because we want to raise 3,000 US dollars. We are at $1,250 because that is supposed to help a few coaches complete the B license. All right. So if you want to be a part of that, we can send you. You saw the program that Kyle Wallace was on, Reggae Boys, a couple days ago.
Yes. Send me information. Send information to me.
All right, I'll send it to you so you can go on and make a donation to that.
Yeah, man, definitely. One last question to Mr. Speed. Can any coaches participate in anything that's run by the JFF without a certain license?
No, all the JFF competitions, except all the JFF competitions have a license requirement. Yes, all the JFF competitions have a license requirement at this time, and it is as such. Division that's a Premier League is a CONCACAF C license. Next year, you have to have a CONCACAF B license to coach in the Premier League or enroll in a course, and then after that is the lesser license coming.
All right, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right,
You just go
Jeremy,
and
bless up.
listen.
And I sent you the link for the Reggae Boys supporters club, so you can contribute to that whole process if you so desire.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much. All right.
All right. All right. So we have our next person here. Fresh God. Somebody was asking for the call-in number for the show. So let's see if we can give them a call. All right. How we do this now? Because want to make sure that we give everyone the opportunity to call in who have a point to raise on this issue.
So,
Yes.
Marlins man, just to make the point, everybody know who is Kenroy Campbell, right? What you know him as?
Kenroy Campbell, in terms of position that he plays,
Yeah.
He don't play left back with Cavaliers, man.
Right. So him go over Moldova. You know him a play? Left midfield and left wing. Because they must have that perception, they say Jamaicans are good wingers, are good on the flank, use them speed. I don't think he was an express fast player. You know, they are much more faster player than him.
Yeah.
Just to make them see the point.
Yeah, let me see if I can get this person. All right, there we go. Yeah. Let's see if we can get them because they were trying to reach out to the. But even Zemini's, Zemini's went and used him pace to play forward at his club. In the under 21. Yes, in Paris. Norman Campbell.
Yeah.
Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. Caller. You're listening to the show, caller. Welcome to the show. You're listening to it and at the same time, maybe you have to turn it off. Or pause it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you now.
Yeah, man. So I'm not doing all right. So the signal not good on me there.
Oh, we're hearing you still. So I don't know if you want to go ahead or try and call back. All right, so not getting through to that caller. Yeah, so that is what I'm saying. Jermaine Johnson wing, Ricardo Fuller. You look if you look Leon Bailey, you understand me? Even Dujan Whisper Richards, it's because people talk about his pace and his build and his strength. So a lot of the players who have, in fact, you know what is funny? The players who are not fast, who have gone, a lot of them have not done so well. You know, I mean, I can tell without, well, I'm not going to call any names, but there are a couple of players who left who were slower players and they struggled to make it over there. But the faster players always seem to be able. Cephas from Arnett Gardens as well is the next one. Omar Daly, I can go back. So generally, the players who excel overseas from Jamaica are the players who have some pace and speed. So it is part of the attribute. It is not the only thing. There are other components to their game that is very, very important. Mr. Speed, how is the preparation for the Gold Cup? I mean, the 16th is Gold Cup. I mean, yeah, I mean everything. I know that we were looking forward to having the senior team in the semifinals and stuff before the Gold Cup. If we had defeated Mexico, that never happened. So will the team be active leading into the Gold Cup, or where we are in terms of Gold Cup preparation, and how is that looking in terms of trying to really go there and win the Gold Cup this time around?
Well, we get a setback because we're not able to qualify. We're not able to beat Mexico. Because if we did, we would have gotten two really good matches. I think one match would have been against the USA in the semi-final of the Nation League, and then after we win that, we would have played in the final. So we got a setback. So what we have to do now is to go and look games for that FIFA window in June. Because I mean, we can play even if we play other games before that, we will not be able to have our best team. So
Okay.
for those games in June would be the last time for us to prepare for the World Cup. So we're looking games. We have some offers, and then what we're going to be doing is playing those games, and then we have a little camp before the World Cup. So we're going to the World Cup after that. So
Okay.
that's the preparation we're looking at.
So, I mean, are you aware if we're going to do like what we did, like which was seemed like a very good lead up to the Mexico camp where the players actually camp in Jamaica? It seemed like they really had a good time because a lot of the feedback. I think this is the first time that we are first time in a long time we're seeing a national team engaged, and we haven't heard a lot of like negative coming out from the players. Just from the one who spoke, even Damian Lowe. I mean, we saw Russell, we saw Ravel, we saw Ethan Pinnock. All of these guys have put out positives about how the trip went and just the whole experience, not just the game in Mexico. So, is that something we're planning on doing, like having them just experience Jamaica itself, or it is easier to have the camp in the States, seeing that the Gold Cup will be, well, in the USA, Canada, and Mexico?
Still flexible, but remember that um remember last time we had camp for like 10 days, and then we had the players for like with the concern like nearly a month. It's really difficult to have players so long. So I don't think we have such a long camp again.
I think that was because we had our first game was at home in the last World Cup. Meaning in Jamaica, we played a game. We got the opportunity to play one of our first group games in Jamaica.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just still a long time to take away professional players from them family, especially after a long season. So we have to find a way to make sure the players are comfortable. And yeah, we did, charter a flight and treated the players best as we could going to Mexico. Also, the training sessions before and the visits to the social part of the game where the players, visited some local place. So what we're really trying to do is to get even more professional going into the World Cup. Make sure the players' mind at ease. So it's something that we're working on. So then no have no issues. Once we get that right, I think we're trying to bring out the professionalism, the same standard that the player enjoy in their club. That is the standard we're trying to reach up to. So that's what we're working on right.
Okay, all right. I know you soon have to leave. I mean, I also got some reports that there were Reggae girls. They weren't stranded, but they had no support staff. Oh,
I'm
oh.
not up to date with that. So,
2019 was when we played the game in Jamaica. Yes. Thank you, Cataract, for that. And then,
so it wasn't the last time because I remember the last time we went up for a 10-day camp.
yeah,
Oh,
in Orlando. Yeah, true, true,
as
true,
for the
true.
camp, we don't know where we're getting the game yet, the final game. So that final game will determine where the camp is. Because if it is in USA, it don't make sense to come back to Jamaica and then camp and go. Because
Okay.
because that window is very close to the World Cup. So when we get the draw and we know exactly who we're playing and where we're playing, it will determine who we play the last match and where we play it.
And the draw is next weekend in Las Vegas. Is Las Vegas or California?
I think it's LA. I think
LA. Yeah, in
I
LA.
think so.
Yeah, yeah. All right. And you say you're not aware of what is happening with the girls in England.
I don't have a date. I don't have the up-to-date report on it. I know we have issues, but I don't have the up-to-date.
All right. I need to make some phone calls and find out what is happening. I hear your phone ringing. So it's East. Everybody want the bun and cheese. So we're going to bring on Mr. Cataract to come talk about him Leeds team getting relegated from the Premier League.
All right, boss. So yeah, man. Take care.
All right, thanks, sir. And create something for the coaches. You coach a parish team at the youth level, JFF, for post competition.
Of course, we're creating something for them because they have to have a certain qualification, and we'll be teaching them how to develop young players, which is what is embedded in our course.
Then that me I talk about, man, and Coach Barris that talk about, man.
Well, I don't know if it is structured the same way you said, but what we teach is for them to know everything, and then improve.
All right, bless up. All right, Mr. Speed, thanks for coming on as usual. We're going to transition the show now, where Cataract is going to come and tell us, if Chelsea or Leeds will be relegated from the EPL this season. So let's see. Will it be Leicester City? Or will it be Bournemouth? Will it be West Ham? I don't know. Who are the three? Are Nottingham Forest? Who are the three relegated teams? Southampton? Who is going down? Everton? So I think it is between Everton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Leicester City, and Southampton. Now, Fresh God, carefully I ramp with Liverpool in a Fresh God because he have a tough game today, Now we're ready for Cataract. We can't find him. Cataract come from under the bed. Ryan LFC, what go on? Because the people them tell me, say, man, you listen to Ryan LFC show. I go on, I not see no show go on, and nobody can tell me what go on. Ryan LFC there. Ryan LFC, come from under the bed. Ryan LFC, come from under the bed. Come from under the bed, Ryan LFC. Because what go on the show last night, Ryan LFC? Ryan LFC, come from under. Oh, you're Ryan LFC. Last night, the man them say, man, you need to go listen to Ryan show. By the time I go over there, I'll be at say private. And everybody else say, boy, big lawsuit against Ryan. So I don't know, I would know Ryan. Talk to me. You want join the... Hey, a long people, where is Wicked Man, bro? Long time I don't see him, now. Yeah, because I'm going to tell me, say, I don't know if it's true still. Man, tell me, say, like, Ryan up on the show, and I say, yeah, baby, so me can't talk to you right now because, say, she there here, And she say, she, man, you don't know, and you never know, say, yeah, I true. But me, I say, I'm mad, Ryan, I do them that thing, them, man. Ryan, a serious thing, Ryan go on with pan him show. If Ryan, I deal with girl thing pan him show. But nobody no want to tell me what go on, Ryan. Me drop the link, Ryan. Come on, a year ago. Me I tell the man them say me don't shout it and find out what go on. Because Ryan a stay them way them, man. What go on the catcher? Ryan, come from under the bed, bro.
Ryan, you need to give Ryan cranium gal policy.
No. Me feel say I trouble them, but nobody no want to tell me.
A gal is on them. Well, tell you.
The man them say the man run go downstairs, go answer him phone. because and leave the phone open and the person say hello, it's
Is
me.
it me you're looking for? Give a whole soul. Nah, no, brother.
You're the one who text you and say, Ryan, your phone open, everybody, I hear you. Full that three lyrics, we don't hear nothing. But go ahead, Cataract. Oh, you say about the relegation battle, you know.
No, that's when this is our end of the table. As I saw you put it up there. Leeds United was successful yesterday. In the whole, we beat Nottingham Forest 2-1, and that has put us up to 13th in the table. But like I said to you before, it is really and truly a ding dong battle. Leicester City lost 2-1 to Aston Villa, and Bournemouth lost 2-0 to Brighton.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of implications. I mean, today's matches are about mid-table and Europe. Brentford versus Man U, West Ham, who is in
No,
the
but
in the relegation
if West
dogfight.
Ham lose, their goal difference will be affected. Cause they're
Yes.
on. Yeah, they're if they get yeah, well, they're not going to go too far still, but yeah.
So it as I said, I expect the table to change shape every week, um, based on the results, because it's so dynamic. You know, right now Bournemouth, Leicester, and Southampton are in the relegation, and it looks, it could be anybody because Southampton is on 23 points, Leicester is on 25, Bournemouth on 27, Nottingham Forest on 27, Everton on 27. West Ham is on 27, but they have 2 games in hand,
Yeah.
right? So they could do themselves a world of good if they were able to win those 2 games and go up to 33 points, which would put them above Crystal Palace, right? Um, but remember that 40 points is the threshold that you're looking for to guarantee safety. So right now, Chelsea has to get 1 more point. Otherwise, they could find themselves, hopefully, in a relegation scrap. But that not happen. So from Crystal Palace down, Crystal Palace is 10 points away from safety, which means that you have to win more than 3 games. So win 3 games plus a draw to get to safety. And that's a lot of asking because I think it's only 9 games left in the season.
Yeah, for some teams, yeah. Yeah. And it's the least amount of games teams have. But it is interesting. I think it is interesting, and I think also the top four is also interesting in terms of who finishes in the top four. I think except for Arsenal and Man City, the other 2 spots are still up for grabs.
Yeah, you have
For even the top four.
Newcastle, Tottenham, and Man United all on 50 points.
Yeah, you know what is funny?
But Man U
I
and
still
Newcastle
believe
have
they're
2 games in
even
hand.
but if you look at Brighton, because Brighton is still has a chance,
Yes, because they have 2 games in hand.
in hand. There you go.
Right. So it's all about, but games in hand, you have to win them, They're only games in hand on paper, right? So you have to get the necessary result. But what I'm saying is, on every level, it's an interesting season. So the fight for the Champions League places, which are the top 4, is going on. The fight for the Europa League places is going on in earnest, and the Conference League, and then the relegation dogfight includes as much as 8 teams.
Yeah, yeah. But the championship as well. I mean, any of the Reggae Boys team coming up. I know Burnley. Burnley is basically back up with Vincent Company. Sheffield United looks like they're going to be the second place team, and then you have Middlesbrough, Luton Town with Bell,
Uh,
Millwall, Blackburn Rovers, no,
well,
Norwich
well,
City and Coventry for the playoff, fighting for the playoff.
here's the thing: Sheffield United have to win their next game to be really safe. Right? They have a game in hand on Middlesbrough and Burnley, on Middlesbrough and
Right.
Luton and Millwall. So they would have to win that game to go to 76 points. So at Sheffield United, you have, I think, Max Lowe and Jaden Brown. That's the left back and I think a right back who are there. And they were with Sheffield United when they were last in the Premier League. Because 2 seasons ago, Sheffield was in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And there's the youngster who has Jebison, who can either represent England, Canada, or Jamaica. Born in Canada to Jamaican mother and father, and grew up in England. So he's in the England under 19 setup right now, but he's a player of interest there at Sheffield United. So it
Burnley
looks
don't. Burnley don't
it
have
looks
any.
done and dusted. No, not in the first team.
Mm.
Not in the first team. But the sort of era where Burnley is, is not really
High concentration of.
concentration of Jamaicans
Yeah.
there. It's really it, and most likely it's Manchester, the greater Manchester area. So I don't know of any players there. But I would be rooting for Luton to have a dream come up into the Premier League. Uh, it looks a
And
bit
people,
sticky. Sorry.
Soldier just call, you understand me? Him same there Old Trafford right now. Same can call in as usual. You know, 'cause you know Manchester United playing, so he's at the game. Same say, big up all of the people them in there. Big up Carlton.
Jaden Bogle, sorry, fresh cut. Jaden Bogle, yes, Jaden
Yeah.
Bogle.
I would love for Luton Town. When last has Luton Town been in the Premier League, man?
Never.
But it would be so bad for Middlesbrough because almost every year in the last umpteen years they have been right up there and failed
I
to
have,
come through.
well, I have
And
no,
then
I
and
have
then you
no.
have Blackburn who went all the way down to League One after relegation and then has come back up now, you know?
So I have no affinities to Blackburn. Blackburn Rovers won the first ever Premier League in 1992. The house that the cup that Jack built. They were the first club to be owned by a billionaire, Sir Jack, and he passed away. And they have struggled since financially and otherwise. If you remember, Blackburn Rovers had um, Alan Shearer was there, SAS, that's what they used to call him, Chris Sutton,
Yes.
right? At that time, and they were a force. So this is really the year when a lot of traditional teams are making a push. West, so with their nose outside, you have Norwich City who went down last year, who are the perennial yo-yo club, right? They would be looking
Yeah.
to come up. But again, if you're needing more than a win, it's difficult to see how you get that. Coventry City, the same thing. They're on 57 points. They need two positive results, and Blackburn Rovers or Millwall not to have a positive result at the same time.
Yeah, but
Uh,
Cataract is how many games they have left? In around the,
well,
there are
they have
around 6 games or so left. Or
right. So
seven.
there are 22. There are 22, 24 teams in there. So it's 46 games.
Games, yeah.
And they're now at most teams
Thir-
are at between 38 and
8 and
39. So
39, yeah.
there's 7 to 8 games left,
Left, yeah.
right? So it's difficult to see. So it's not in their hands, put it that way. Daniel Johnson's still in with a shout at Preston North, and I think that's as low as I would go. They are on 56 points, and that would be a miraculous turnaround. Um, to see Daniel Johnson in the Premier League. He was there with Aston Villa, but really as a trainee in the youth teams there. But it's gonna affect Norwich City the most if Norwich does not come back up because
Yeah.
their whole structure is based on getting promoted, getting relegated, getting the parachute payments. And if you notice, they don't sell very many players, right? They still have held on to Max Aarons, even though he has been on the
Yeah,
top
they
of
did. They did. Say, what's the midfielder's name? The midfielder name?
Todd Cantwell
Yeah.
up to Rangers.
Yeah.
Out of England. They don't really sell within England that much, you know. So they have their Josh Sargent, they have Timo Pukki. They generally keep the whole base of the squad because they use that parachute payment to cover them for that year and then go back up immediately after. So it'll be interesting to see how they survive if they don't go back up.
I mean, this has been a very dominant. Is it the Burnley coach or the Burnley players? Although Burnley was in the league last year, they lost their defense line basically. Burnley lost almost their entire defense line now because Churkowski. What's the other one name? That's he was at Wolves and moved to Everton. Connor Cody,
Yeah,
Burns.
Burnley were based on
Burns was there.
yes.
Our other guy that is at Everton as well, that Dwight McNeil.
Dwight McNeil was there, left sided midfielder stroke winger. What they had was a solid side based on runners. Chris Wood, who is now at
Yes,
he went to
that's what I'm saying is
Newcastle,
that if you check how many
right?
players, the goalkeeper as well, who was at Burnley, is not there. So they have lost a lot of
The
players.
players, right? But with a manager like Vincent Company coming in, he has managed to attract a certain caliber of player, particularly some from Europe. So Burnley, if you remember, had been in the Premier League for about 4 to 5 seasons, you know, were really a mainstay in the bottom half of the Premier League, based on with Sean Dyche, based on a robust defense, right? And counter-attacking football.
Yeah,
What's his name? What's his name?
Nick Pope.
Corney was
Yeah,
there.
but
And he's Nick
Nick
Pope
Pope. Yeah, the goalkeeper Ben Mee. So they
right,
have their entire squad, you know.
was gutted. Was
Yeah,
gutted when,
and
when
they're
they were
still
relegated.
leading. So that means that Vincent Company is probably a good coach, unless they spent back some of the money and bought players.
Yeah, but they spent and they sold sensibly. I didn't think it was a fire sale. They got good money for those players.
Hey, listen, people, sure improvement. One of our subscribers right here. Look like she got picked in the bus, you know. She said last night, she lost her purse in a bus last night with money and ID. You understand me? So people, if you find it, you know, link money is money, you know.
Yeah, but
Right?
they were on the name on the
Yeah.
ID.
Any beautiful lady you see, is she named Sure Improvement. You understand me? You
But
talk to her, it's a
which
sure
parish?
improvement. All she's saying is that anybody talk to her, sure improvement in them life. So if you find it, female, beautiful, you link I am sure sports. You understand me? You can keep the little money. Move from yourself with a little bit of money. Just send back the purse with the ID. Because them thing they take a little while to be get back. You understand me? I want to make sure to see you have ID. But so sorry to hear that sure improvement. You
But
understand me?
man, is it have to tell us which parish?
Yeah, yeah. You understand? Tell us where it happens to improvement. Give us some ideas so we can help and see if we can put out a sound in there. See if we can have some of our agents and work. Yeah, man. You find it, you let us know. You understand me? So sorry to hear that. We probably can. Yeah,
I
no, look
hope, I
like you
hope,
vote for money still now, but
I hope, I hope it's not a coach purse or a Tory birch. Because you're not going to get back the purse. So we just a beg for the ID. Because them boy, they're going to give back the purse. Them name brand purse. But give her back the ID then, please. Driver's
oh,
license and
oh,
these
she's
things.
in Portmore, St. Catherine. Says people just unfair. Though though I drove the bus, the driver said unfair. Though I drove the bus, the driver said he didn't see it. Oh,
There's supposed to be cameras on the buses, you know.
if it, yeah,
There's supposed to be cameras on the bus, you know. Yeah.
yeah. So
Sorry to
sorry to
hear.
hear that. Hey,
Sorry to
sure
hear.
improvement, you know. It's a Super Friday. People super Friday. Show improvement. We have to know still how much money in the coming on. Go put it out and then we can full up back the wallet with the money in. People, show improvement. Make we know how much money in there. We see if Super Friday we can make the money go back into the wallet. You understand me? That's how we deal with it over here. And you understand me? Big up yourself. But Chelsea about to appoint Frank Lampard, Cataract. What you saying for the end of the year?
Caretaker. 9 games to go. And they don't want to make a rush decision. It can't get any worse. They're not going to make the Champions League.
So do you believe that Lampard can do a better job in these 9 games than Graham Potter? This don't make no sense to me.
No, I thought they were a bit stunned by the fact that they couldn't get one of the 4 coaches that they had their eyes on, Luis Enrique and Nagelsmann, former.
Oh, she said, though I drove the bus. She drove down the bus. I'm not sure, but go ahead, Ketara.
Yes. So they're not going to go into the Champions League. I don't know. They're not going to get relegated.
If they win the Champions League, don't they go back, or they don't have that rule again?
Or them are going to win the Champions League. Or that drop in.
People, if you win the Champions League, you automatically go back in. Can Chelsea win the Champions League?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Not happening.
See, somebody said Chelsea will win the Champions League here. I'm telling you.
The effects of medicinal cannabis. Hallucinating. It's not going to happen. Big teams are in the competition. Big teams who have a vested interest to win the Champions League. Real Madrids are still there. Barcelona is still in it, right?
Barcelona didn't even qualify for it.
They didn't even qualify for it. So Real Madrid's still in there. Manchester City is still in there. Bayern Munich still in there. It's sticky.
No, but all right. So it is Benfica versus Inter. Man City versus Bayern. Chelsea and Real Madrid are playing now.
So all them are move past that.
Huh?
Or they're going to move past that. Or they're going to move past Real Madrid.
So you don't believe that Chelsea can beat Real Madrid?
Nope.
Okay.
Chelsea can't even beat Brentford. Like, logically speaking.
So where did Chelsea go last year in Champions League?
Probably semi-final or quarter-final.
Really?
Let me look.
Chelsea?
I don't really mind side still.
Who win Champions League last season? Real Madrid?
Yes.
Who Real Madrid played in the final?
I don't really. My team don't really play.
I thought they lost in the semi-finals. I think Chelsea lost in the semi-finals to Real Madrid. Am I right? I'm almost certain. And then Real Madrid beat Liverpool in the final. Yeah. But wasn't Chelsea in the semi-finals against Real Madrid and Real Madrid beat them? And then they played Liverpool in the finals and beat Liverpool. I'm certain that what happened. So Chelsea went to the semi-finals, I think.
Liverpool. Road to the finals. They Chelsea beat Benfica 5-4 on aggregate.
In what?
Round off in the quarterfinals.
Oh, somebody said Real Madrid beat City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But who didn't Chelsea play semi-finals? I'm certain that Chelsea. Oh, they lost to Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. And then Real Madrid beat City in the semi-finals. I think Liverpool beat Bayern in the semi-finals, played Real Madrid in the finals, and Real Madrid won. I think that's how it went. But all right.
Real Madrid beat them in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Real Madrid beat Chelsea. Real Madrid beat PSG in the round of 16, 3-2 aggregate. They beat Chelsea in quarterfinals, 5-4 aggregate, and then they beat Manchester City in the semifinals, 6-5 aggregate.
But they said Chelsea had a coach, but then.
So they beat 3 English teams on their way to winning.
Yeah. Somebody said that Chelsea also beat Real Madrid the year before in the semis. Hey, listen, all right, so sure improvement. Friday, I them think are important. Rent, we are towards the rent, we are going to sort it out, man. Friday, super Friday, super sticker, super chat day. You understand me? We make that reach. We figure out a way to make it happen, all right?
But
And then
Martins,
somebody bring in the IDs and
bring in
stuff.
the idea and thing, man. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. But
You must,
Martins,
any one of you out there listening, you understand me? Beautiful lady lost her purse over there in St. Catherine on a bus. You understand me? Driver say never see it. So anybody else in the bus, you understand me? I hope I want pick it, cause that way they're not gonna wish for it to get picked, People do not. Anytime when I walk with money, put it in a front pocket. Don't put money in a back pocket. Put in a wallet round here. Listen, but put in a money in a front pocket. You never see a check. Say
follow your
Asian
granny.
people that Asian people don't put money in them back pocket.
Follow your granny.
Yeah, man.
Put in your brazier. So you have the money. Hard for going there. Martins, there's a thing about the championship table though that is worrying the EPL. There's a particular club that's in the playoff position that
Yeah.
they are dreading. That's Millwall. That is sending shivers down the spine of the EPL because Millwall has the worst set of fans and known for egregious acts of hooliganism.
Yeah.
And I was reading where there's a real chance based on the team and how it's playing that they could win the playoffs.
Where in England is Millwall? Which area?
Southeast London, below Peckham,
Okay. One more London club.
below Deptford, Catford, that area there.
One more London club.
One more London club, yes.
Oh
One more
Lord.
London club.
Because you're the only London club left in it. Left because Luton Town.
No man, Luton is outside of London, man.
Yeah. No man, it's the only one because you have Burnley,
No,
Sheffield.
Burnley is not in London.
No, I'm saying so. I'm saying
Millwall.
Millwall is the only one in London that could make it.
Yeah, well, there's no other London club in the championship.
Yeah.
Queens Park Rangers.
QPR is there, man.
QPR.
18th.
QPR, and so 2 London clubs are in the championship. But Millwall, it frightens people that they would become. It is one of those nightmare scenarios because the policing and the resources that would have to be taken from Millwall and are pretty something.
And I suspect, I wonder if they have the kind of. I need to check out. What about Watford?
Watford's outside of London, but they won't make it up. No, they're on 55 points. They're too far adrift at this stage.
Yeah.
It's a bit rough. And in the relegation part of it, no, it's still a sticky battle in that relegation because nobody has been cut adrift.
Even Reading can get relegated.
Yes, because they lost 6 points, eh?
Yeah. What did they lose those points for?
Financial fair play, not being able to pay their wages on time. No, Fabian Full, I'm telling that Watford is outside of London, going up the M1. How many Midland clubs? Nottingham Forest, East Midland, Aston Villa, West Midland, Wolverhampton, West Midland. Are the 3.
So in League One, it looked like what's his name? Greg Lee could be coming up to play in because he's at Ipswich because they are third.
Yeah,
and 78 points. Isn't Greg Lee at Ipswich Town?
Yes, he is. He
moved
from Markham. He moved from Markham up to Ipswich.
And Derby County with
but it's still tight, They could still win. But
Yeah, they could still win. Yeah, and Derby County could make the playoff as well.
who's there? Nobody that we know.
Yeah, man, Derby.
We don't know nobody there.
Who
Ravel,
was at
what club?
Derby?
Ravel
Oh no,
Morrison.
he's at Preston North End. Yeah.
So
Peterborough.
Peterborough with
Peterborough.
Johnson Clark Harris is who
Yeah,
we'd want to see come back up.
yeah.
But they would have to make it definitely through the playoffs. And again, it's sticky because they are on equal points with Derby and Bolton. So it's not a done deal there. It's really rough down there. So, but they automatic. I'm happy for Darren Moore. I hope he wins the League One and gets a trophy and gets silverware to his name.
He's at Sheffield. Huh?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Okay.
Right. But they're drawing a lot of games.
Yeah, and because they have a game.
No,
They
they
are
don't have a
playing a
game in
game
hand.
extra over Plymouth
Yeah,
and Ipswich.
and Ipswich. So it's very
Kid
close. Those
Killart is at
games.
Derby. He's not in. He's in the first team.
I haven't really heard much about that player after so much was said about him. You know, I don't know what to make of it. He's in the under 21s. I don't know if he's gone there on loan. What's the
Yeah, I don't think he's in the senior
10,
team.
10 appearances and 1 goal, starting
They
32%
have David
of the time.
McGoldrick. That was at Sheffield.
So he's on loan to Derby.
Yeah.
He's on loan. He played twice in the EFL Trophy, but he's not a first team player. So League One, we're looking to see if Johnson Clark Harris can come back into the championship and really stamp his name as a championship striker. But I think if Peterborough failed to get promoted, I don't see him remaining in League One. I think he'd be snapped up by a championship team.
Here's a question for you, Ketarak.
Yes, my friend. Who has the question?
BM says, are you surprised by Bolton's fall from grace? Remember when Gardner was there and they were playing in the EPL and Europe? You're not the only team, but all Blackburn suffered the same thing as well. A lot of teams, you know.
Many teams fall from grace.
Blackburn win Premier League and was contending big time. And look where they are falling to.
When I went to England, Notts County was in the first division, right? Notts County is now in the National League. If you look at League 2, Bradford, where Talpi, our goalkeeper,
but
played.
all Portsmouth was a big team.
Portsmouth was a perennial team in Tresor, Loa. That was a player I used to love watch. From I think Congo.
Wasn't David James at Portsmouth too?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Right. So many teams have fallen from grace.
Coventry.
Coventry, yes. Coventry was there. So I'm not surprised because
even Birmingham defeated when they had this big tall foul, they defeated Arsenal in a FA Cup.
Right. But Bolton, if you look at it, it's in the Greater Manchester area, Lancashire, right? Where there's a lot of competition. For the good players, right? So you generally find that you generally find that it's a bit rough to get
excel in that area. Yeah. Because the better players are always going to end up at the Manchester clubs in academies. Yeah. But here's what I want to ask you, Ketara, before we close.
Sure.
So, Gold Cup coming up. League's ending. All right?
Yes.
So let's say we have the striker position covered. Mikel Antonio, Shamar Nicholson, Jamal. So we have that covered. Who are, all right, I want you to give me players who have not played yet. Who are the 4 players that you think we should try to seal their thing so they can play? 4. And what position? Realistic, no, like, you give me
No, but
it would be a dream.
but then you're gonna break some confidentiality we have when we know some players who
No,
are
but
in the
you're
team.
all randomly. You're not saying that these players have, but you're saying in reality these players can play. Like, and if you were, these are the 4 players that I'd want to see. Or 5. Give me 5 names that you're
Five
saying.
players I do want to see. I do want to see Johnson Clark Harris.
Okay.
Complete the process as a striker.
So you're saying you're bringing 4 because Shamar Nicholson is going to be there, Antonio is going to be there, and Jamal Lowe. So you're adding him as the 4th one.
Yes, and you're talking realistic now, right? You're talking
Yeah, man. Yeah.
players who are on the verge, right? I would want to see at the right back. I would want to see Kyle Walker-Peters.
Okay.
If you're talking realistically.
Yeah.
Kyle Walker-Peters or Max Aarons would be I think they would be the best choice for right back for Jamaica. But realistically, I would settle and I won't be upset if Ethan Laird.
Okay.
Right?
I think Ethan Laird is realistic. I don't think Max Aaron is.
But I think Kyle Walker-Peters, if we make a strong push, would be realistic.
Okay. All right. I think that would not be realistic for the
Why?
Gold Cup. Because we are in April. May, June.
June, 2 months.
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic. Ethan Laird, I think, is realistic.
I think a good approach to Kyle Walker-Peters. My what I'm told is he's not one of those who granny and grandfather thing lock up in our suitcase somewhere.
Oh.
Should be able to get on board.
Cataract is giving his names, people. You can't ask him, can't give your name where you want to see, He might give him 5 names then. So Johnson Clark Harris is 1, and he has set it on Kyle Walker-Peters 2 as his realistic option.
Realistic, but I think Ethan Laird is more than realistic.
So realistic, he's saying Ethan Laird and Johnson Clark Harris. All right, that's 2.
The centre backs reinforcement, I think, is necessary.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give anything away with this one. But
realistic option.
The Manchester United centre back.
Bernard.
I never called on him.
Yeah, all right. So that is your realistic option in there. That's 3. Mm-hmm. Realistic. Because I have different names from you,
And the brother were there in the Premier League team. The one with the in the Premier League squad. You know yourself. But it will be one or the other. I don't see both of them coming into the squad, but I see them coming into contention. Right?
So that the unnamed player is number 4.
No, it's one or the other. Is who I would see. But I think realistically the Manu.
Brother. So let me go back again. Johnson Clark Harris.
Johnson Clark Harris.
You believe is a realistic option.
Realistic option. Finish up him thing.
All right. Kyle Walker-Peters. No, you didn't say Kyle Walker. You said
I said I would like to see Kyle Walker-Peters.
But for you, it's Ethan Laird.
Yeah.
Ethan Laird. All right. 2. All All right. 3 is
Call name fresh God. Yeah. 3 is the central defender from Manu.
right. Which
I
I
think
say
it's
is a
realistic.
Bernard. All right. I
Right?
call that name. Right.
But I believe that there's another central defender in the Premier League, in a Premier League squad, is on the verge of
Who you believe is realistic as well?
yes, who I believe is on the verge of getting his papers.
Okay. All right. Bam.
Right.
So if you got that one, you would not take the Manchester one. That's what they say.
Either
But
or. It's up to the coach.
all right. All right. So that's still 3.
Yes.
So no CDM for you. No midfielders.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
So you don't see us getting any midfielders.
A CDM, I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see it. I can't see Lewis Baker. I don't, and Isaac Hayden has been out injured for a long time. I don't think he's coming back until the end of the season. So I don't see it. And then now you're going down to League One. The Corey Smith is veteran.
All right, so let me give you my realistic options.
And who really would love to see in this team to make things spicy and nice. But give me your realistic option.
All right, realistic options. I believe that Demarai Gray is a realistic option for the Gold Cup.
If Demarai Gray comes and plays at the Gold Cup,
that's one.
I will come to your church and baptize in a Otrius if Demarai Gray come at the Gold Cup.
I believe it's a realistic option for him to be in the Gold Cup squad. And I even firmly believe so, especially because he has not been getting a lot of game time.
Yeah, but no man, he starts as a forward now. He's like Leon Bailey.
He's not been getting a lot of game time.
No, bro.
He has not been getting a lot of game time.
That man, the man in my fantasy football team, what you talk about?
But that's why in there in my team, that's why I tell him you have to take him out, kind of give me we couldn't work out with him because Dwight McNeil was playing a lot of games over him until they decided to play him down the middle. But he has not been. All right?
Up front now.
Yeah, no, I agree, but he has not been. It's just after this international break, him get a start.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but he had not been starting. So
that's true.
I think he's a realistic option.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Realistic option for me is KC Palmer. I think he's a realistic option as
yeah, but that man the day I think already have passport.
He never played. Which game KC Palmer? Which game
against USA?
Friendly, but he has not. He not played like an official game.
Cheat now, man. You cheat.
What kind of cheat?
You cheat now. No, it cannot be a player who put on the colors before. No.
The man not playing in no game. He not playing in an official game. He not playing in an official game. He has not played an official game for Jamaica.
A brand new people about here, brother. People.
All right, people. Let the people them vote.
It's brand new players around here.
I named KC Palmer. The man is saying that me shouldn't. Isn't KC Palmer?
KC Palmer at the pool. Oh, well, that's true.
How is he supposed to be?
King Jav, true. You beat me bad. Johnson Clark Harris, you beat me. All right, go on, do your thing. Yes, King Jav. I forget that one there.
Oh, yeah, King Jav. Thank you, King Jav.
Yeah, but Rob Smith you said no. Rob Smith you said no.
He used Johnson Clark Harris, who actually played after KC Palmer.
No, but Johnson Clark Harris don't have no passport. KC Palmer have passport.
No, but what I'm saying though is that none of the players that we are calling are players who have not played an official game, because none of them you can say like they have been. None of them not playing an official game.
All right.
Right?
Set down the rules and I'm going to call the name.
All right. So players who have not played an international game for Jamaica. So you can include.
They're not too easy, because then you're going to talk about Latibedir. It's just easy. Johnson Clark Harris, Latibedir.
Are they realistic though? So give me your 5 realistic options. No, so let's go back over. Give me your 5 realistic options. Brother, you can't call the name the way we call now, you have a fight. Nobody can check. But go ahead. All right. Give me your 5 realistic options. Now that we are saying they probably played a one friendly, but they haven't played any official.
This is what me want to see that the Gold Cup squad. Let me just tell you that. Brawling. Yeah. I would like to see in the Gold Cup squad the following additions. 1 would be Johnson Clark Harris. 2 would be Cameron Archer. 3 would be Tyreek Mitchell. 4 would be Lewis Baker. And 5 would be Kyle Walker-Peters. That's who I would like to see in there.
I don't understand you though. You said this is not, you're not talking realistic, you just say who you'd like to see.
And I believe that they have not played for England. They're not on the England radar.
But here's my point though. But some of them are not
invited to your dinner with Usain Bolt.
No, so follow me. But here's what I'm saying though. You have a player, according to you, right, that is in Premier League that you don't call in your 5. Do you not work with realistic?
No, because I can't call that name. I can't call that name.
All right, so you have 4. So pick 4 and you have an unnamed player. So you have 1 unnamed player. Give me 4 more.
No, let's go around that player the name, because and you know the player tag, you know so the matter sensitive.
No, but that's what I said. So only 4 players you can name. So give me 4 players now, because we're going to put that player as 1, as a realistic option. Give me 4 other players. Johnson Clark Harris.
That I would like to see come in.
Johnson Clark Harris.
I would like to see Tyreek Mitchell.
Mitchell.
As a permanent left back.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe we need a CDM in the center of the park, and I think the best available
Lewis
Baker.
Yeah. And who again?
On the right back, I said I would want to see Kyle Walker-Peters, but I will settle for Ethan Laird.
All right. So people, let management give you now.
You go ahead and give me.
Realistic for me. All right. I am going KC Palmer. I'm going Omari Hutchinson. All right. That's 2. So KC Palmer, Omari Hutchinson. I am going that Ethan Laird. I am going Latibedir. Number 4. And Demarai Gray.
And I'm saying to you that if Deshaun Bernard gets a passport, Latibedir in problems. Bigger man, bigger baller.
No, but I'm.
It got spicy for the new, right? It got spicy for the new centre back, you know. It got spicy. It got festive.
But I give you my 5 realistic options.
Yeah, man, and I agree with you that those are players who are in and around the consideration of Jamaica. They have played for Jamaica before. So, in other words, nobody knew.
No, Demarai Gray never played for Jamaica.
Well, Demarai Gray, sorry.
Demarai Gray.
Well, in the minds of Jamaicans, he has played for Jamaica because he should have got that passport for last year in February. So, yes. So, a beer all wide in a new back here.
No, man. We call Demarai Gray, Omari Hutchinson, KC Palmer, Ethan Laird, and Latibedir.
So, let me address some people now. Travis Pesio.
And Ethan Laird never played for Jamaica either.
Well, true that.
So me have 2. You bring unrealistic players.
What is it unrealistic? No, but me know
for the Gold Cup.
Let me know some of those players, the coach, and you know the coach in dialogue with a couple of man. Probably the only person that I don't know who dialogue is taking place with is Kyle Walker-Peters. And I am calling that dialogue open with him because he is a very
somebody saying that Tyreek Mitchell play games already for England.
2 friendly matches.
Okay.
2 friendly
One
matches.
one of them tied. Which one born in Jamaica? Is Mitchell or Ferguson?
Ferguson. But he can't. I would never call Ferguson to take up an international cap. One, because I know he's injury prone, so I don't know that he will last the journey. And two, I have told people before, he may get dip. Allow the youth. Move on. Too complicated. His circumstances too complicated. But Travis, on no part of any planet Earth is Rico Henry a better left back than Tyreek Mitchell. On no part of planet Earth. None whatsoever. Proof that you don't know not the way you're talking about. Tyreek Mitchell at one point in the 2021-2022 season had the most tackles as a defender. Yeah, mad no Redberry. And Rico Henry plays left midfield. No, for thing there. But I just say he's not a left back. People, let's ask the question, and I'm asking you, management. If you had a choice of a left back, would it be Tyreek Mitchell or Rico Henry? Who would you?
I'd go Tyreek Mitchell.
And I agree with you. You know that Ethan Pinnock makes Rico Henry look good. Ethan Pinnock makes Rico Henry look good because he's able to gallop up the field, forget sometime that he's a defender because him know that on the left hand side back there he has big Ethan, big Rupert. No, Walker Peters had one friendly international appearance. That cap died.
Oh, so Walker Peters, you say he only had one?
Friendly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So
go ahead.
I don't call people that that's what I said for the Gold Cup. Maybe you guys have named that probably 6 months, 8 months from now, everything will be. I'm talking about what is realistic for the Gold Cup. That is what I'm saying. This is just like 2 or 3 months away. So that is what I'm working with. So I'm not going to bring up names that I don't know that look, Yeah.
And it's not that I won't mind having.
But do we really need a left back though, Catara?
Yes, we do.
You don't think because Amari Bell could be in the Premier League. He'd be considered Premier League left back.
But Amari Bell is not in the league of. Do you know how good a left back Tyreek Mitchell is? Amari Bell has never even been under consideration, nor Rico Henry, for call up to England. Not even on the radar. Tyreek Mitchell has been on the radar. He has gotten a call up. No, Amari Bell a nice youth, man. Our left back. We are talking about backup. And if Tyreek Mitchell come here, Amari Bell go ride the pine, hold the bench. Rico Henry, likewise. Because I'm saying to you that those are top draw left backs. And I would say
Lembikisa is what? Bench player?
Lembikisa, I know Lembikisa as a left back, I am now getting to learn about him as a right back now. I knew him as a left back from his previous season.
No, man, I'm talking about right back because if you say Kyle Walker Peters, that means it pushes him down to.
Yeah. So, no, them man, they're just on the journey, Remember, we have players on different sides, parts of the journey, Lembikisa is just beginning on his journey, but Lembikisa couldn't. Lembikisa, let me be clear. Dexter is a good, young, developmental player. Kyle Walker Peters is the finished product. Ethan Laird, close to being the finished product.
So Max who is the Ethan Laird? If Ethan Laird, you have Ethan Laird. So let's work with these three. Ethan Laird, Lembikisa, and Javian Brown. Number 1, number 2, number 3 option.
Javian Brown would have to turn himself around.
No, man, just give me who is your
Ethan,
option one?
Ethan Laird.
And then who is number two? Yeah, second option.
Dexter.
And then Javian, bro. Okay.
But the coach has shown that. Because
okay.
No, I'm just saying that the coach had to pull an experienced right back with World Cup experience off the field in a Nations League game to give a debut to a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Cataract, listen, it's on the 3 o'clock match in Mark, you know that the EPL is on. I'm going to come back on at 4 because I have a group of youngsters out there in the Netherlands playing a competition. They got a little big beating yesterday still. They're doing, you know, but we're going to do some interviews with them and the coaches out there and things. So if you're available, I can send you the link and stuff.
Which is that?
Huh?
Which is that? No, I'm asking, which competition is that? So that the people
know. No, man, it's the Kingston Soccer Academy. Kingston Soccer Academy. With Eric Redamakers and Andrew Edwards and some more persons. Yeah. So they lost to PSV yesterday. They never really played well. So we're going to talk to some of the kids and the coaches and just get some feedback from them at 4 o'clock. So if you're available, I will send you the link and thing. And see, the link is not for VIP, man.
It's a VIP link.
Yeah, but people, listen, bless up for yourself, everybody. Yeah. So we'll be back at 4 with that interview. What's some EPL?
Remember some hole in it to the thing, you know. Baptism. I'm going to come at church every day if Mason Green would come to Jamaica.
People, yeah, man. Tell a man about them are great. You know, here, no people, you know, they here and they here. All right. Cataract, bless up yourself. You must be a man of your word, that me I tell you. You understand?
Yeah, Southgate tricky. You saw a video going around of Ivan Toney getting his first England cap in the dressing room. Man, I don't even know if I say. Right. I feel it to my heart. Feel it to my heart. We have moved on. Yeah.
All right, but bless up to everyone. Listen, enjoy the rest of your day. I am Mannisman. This has been I Am Sure Sports. Go watch some EPL game. And as usual, when it gets to this place, we say we are over and O-U-T. Oh, they here.
Boom, check it out. I don't know it's Jason. I'm a represent for I Am Sure Sports. For the latest news and updates, check out I Am Sure Sports. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe and share. Jace representing I Am Sure. I Am Sure Sports.